Manx Radio Motorsport, the best biking station in the world, sponsored by Tesco.
And a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to a sunny Isle of Man. Welcome to the ancient capital of the Isle of Man. It's Castletown. We are here for the Blackford Financial Services Pre-TT Classic Road Races, day number 2 in the sunshine. Last night, it was a bit of a cold old night, and in the end, the light beaters, which was a bit of a shame. We did have that incident in the post-classic superbikes. The rider, thankfully, was okay. And we do have a bit of a schedule change to tell you about in a little while. But before we do the intro and tell you what's going to be happening for the day, let's get straight down to Beth Espey. Let's get to our man who was second quickest in the classic junior classic superbikes last night. Grant Thompson is with Beth. And good afternoon, Beth.
Good afternoon, Chris. Yeah, just standing here with Grant, and I tell you what, you've had a few weeks, haven't you? Obviously, that little incident at the northwest, you weren't even sure you were going to be here.
Yeah, it's been a hectic 2 weeks, and that crash at the northwest really didn't, do us any favours. It really set us back, and a lot of work's gone into getting here in such a short space of time. With a hyperbaric, and massive thanks to Ruth Caff at Rex Physio. She's done a lot with me to get me back here. I'll be honest, I'm far from 100%, but I've just had to come and have a go. It's one of my favourite events of the year, and I felt very privileged this year after last year's wins, to run the number 1 plate. So I thought, I had to give it to the team after such a bad week at the northwest. I thought I had to repay them with this. And
last night, second quickest in qualifying. How were you physically after all of that?
Yeah, to be fair, after the first session on the 600, I did struggle. We had a problem with the quick shifter, and my foot was really sore after that. But I found, once I got out there, it wasn't too bad. But it was more when I stopped, and then that little break in between before getting on the classic superbike was quite sore as well. But it's one of them, I'm pretty happy. Qualified second behind Cass on the 600, so I still got the pace there. Just got to bin and greer it.
You certainly do, and your mum, Kat, your partner, Imi here as well. You've got a lot of support around you.
Yeah, got a massive support about them over the last 2 weeks. I wouldn't be here right now, and Gus Turner of IOM Bike Store, Saskatchewan Racing, for everything that he's done, even though I crashed his bike at the Northwest, he still provided me with one, and the Duckshaw Racing boys are here with the 750, so, it's been great to have all the support anyway.
Well, Grant, lovely to see you. Have a good one today.
Thank you very much.
And what's it looking like down there, Beth? Looking all good? Everybody ready to go for the first session, which is now the post-classic superbikes?
Yeah, do you know what it's like? Yesterday it was so grey here when we came off air. Today it's like somebody remembered to put some money in the electric meter and switch the light on. The sky is blue. There's a little bit of cloud cover, but it's absolutely beautiful. Just a bit of a light breeze. You can see the flags going. But a lot of action down here, Chris. Everybody getting ready for this session. Hopefully, as I say, in those better conditions than they were yesterday.
Thank you very much to Beth Espey down there at the paddock. We'll link up with Beth in a few minutes' time. We're on Manx Radio Motorsport, with official broadcast partner for the Blackford Financial Services Pre-TT Classics. And of course, you can listen on AM 1368, online at manxradio.com, via the free Manx Radio app, and of course 87.9 FM around the course. And if you are on the start and finish straight here, affectionately known as the bypass, you can listen to the Club PA that has been put up by the team here. The third member of our team is out at Cross Four Ways, just short of 3 miles around this 4.25 mile Motor Isle Billown Course, and it's Rob Pritchard. Good afternoon.
Yeah, very good afternoon and welcome back to Cross Four Ways on the 4.25 mile Billown Course. The sun is shining, I've got the Factor 30 applied, and we're ready to go for day 2 of the 2026 Pre-TT Classic Road Races. Well, last night, despite the threatening gloom which surrounded us here and around the island, we managed to get the majority of machines and classes out for some valuable course time to get some times in on the stopwatch and get these classic bikes dialed in, with more opportunities to fettle things further for this afternoon ahead of the first races of the meeting, currently due to take place this evening. And whilst we can't draw too many conclusions from the first qualifying sessions at this very early stage, there were still, certainly, some notable performances last night. In the singles class, local man Paul Cassidy and defending champion Will Loader were very much the standard bearers to start things off. Things were less clear-cut, though, in the 1100cc session, with less than 2.5 seconds separating the top 4 of Andy Hornby, Alan Oversby, Will Loader and Richard Ford. And elsewhere in that class, newcomers Kevin Lavery and Dominic Veazey found themselves inside the top 10. Meanwhile, Oversby topped the early timing boards on his 400 Kawasaki and in the 500cc Senior Classic. Of the other 400 machines out last night, debutants Stephen Gorton, Liam Wood, James Dutton and Liam Taylor were also among those to raise some eyebrows with their high pace. And if last night is anything to go by, we could be in for a real treat when it comes to the battle for supremacy in the 350cc Junior Classic. Whilst it was Barry Ferber out in front, just 5 seconds separated the top 8, which also includes Alan Oversby, Harley Rushton, Barry Davidson, Nigel Moore, Will Loader, Mike Hose and Scott Wilson. Unknowns, however, remain in the senior superbikes and sidecars. The former only managed to just get 1 lap in before the session was curtailed by that red flag, whilst the three-wheelers are still waiting to turn a wheel in anger with their session called off due to the fading light on Friday evening. A quick look at the weather here at Cross Four Ways. Absolutely glorious. We are bathed in sunshine here, plenty of blue skies around us, and for the first time this meeting, South Barrule is visible in the distance. Just the cloud kissing the top of the summit over there, but still so much clearer than it was last night as well. Out on the course in front of us, conditions looking bone dry. Everyone, all the marshals here and all the staff looking ready to go for the start of this session. So a busy doubleheader of qualifying and racing awaits as it stands today. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you very much to Rob out there at Cross Four Ways. So a little bit of a schedule change made by the club late last evening. Obviously, like Rob said there, the light kind of beat us last night. So the Post Classics who did start that session, they only get 1 lap in before they were red flagged due to that incident at Church Bend, and the rider is okay, we're led to believe, which is good to see. We're going to have the Post Classic Superbikes going to be heading out. They're going to be hopefully on track around about 12:45 for their session. That'll be round about, how long they're going to get? About 12-13 minutes they'll get on the session. Then we'll have the 250, 350 singles. They've already had 1 practice. They'll get their session. Then we've got the big bikes going out, the 1100cc Classics. Then we'll go to the Post Classic Junior Superbikes, then the 500s, and you get it. We keep going on. And of course, we have racing this evening. So practice qualifying this afternoon, and we will have racing this evening. We've already heard from a man who's won down here a couple of times, Grant Thompson. That was, of course, last year. Did very, very well on that. Just heard from him. And he's down there with Beth Espey. She is down in the paddock area, Beth. And you've learned from last night. You've got an extra set of earplugs in. Good afternoon again.
I tell you what, when you said your bones shake when you're down in here and all the machines are going, you weren't joking. But yeah, what a great atmosphere. Loads of people milling around, which is always brilliant to see, and eager to get away for today's session. Lots of people around the course. Just a big shout out to all the marshals who are there as well. We know a lot of them travel over to the Isle of Man for this event. It's just incredibly well organised, and I'm just going to head over and see if I can get a quick word with Adrian Harrison, who is back here. I'll just sidle in and say, Adrian, good afternoon. How are you? How are things?
Yeah, good. New tyres last night. Midnight, me and Cassidy. So, yeah, we sorted it all out really. And just, I didn't realise it'd been pulled forward today, the extra session. So a bit of a flap, but I've got it together. Yeah, I'm happy now. So the sun's out as well.
I tell you what, it's gorgeous, isn't it? And, you know, great to see you back here. Everyone just keeps saying what a brilliant event this is, and something that everyone wants to be part of.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Everybody loves it. There's loads of classic bikes here. Suits everybody. And there's some really well-prepped bikes. A lot of people have put a lot of effort in, so it's nice to see it.
It really is. Tell us about your machine that we're standing next to then.
Well, I originally bought it 3 years ago as a track bike, and I've literally, what I paid for it and what I've got in it now, I can't tell you, because yeah, I've changed everything pretty much really. It's now it's a good classic super bike now. I think next year's job, underslung caliper, change wheels, but performance-wise, it's pretty much there. So I'm really happy with it. Good Maxton sorted me all out with suspension and set it all up. I've had it at Slicks on dyno, set it up down there with Alistair. So yeah, I can't wait to have a go on it.
Brilliant. Well, have a great afternoon, Adrian. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
There's the klaxon going now, so all the machines being wheeled down towards the gate. And everybody just eager, as we say, to get underway today. I can see Jim Gibson's machine there. That's a lovely one. That's going out a little bit later, not in this session. That schedule change has to take into account of the fact that qualifying was curtailed last night because of the incident. Fortunately, to say the rider was okay. But all the riders heading up to the gate there. I can see Ryan Whitehall. They're heading down towards the dummy grid. And lovely to see so many children here. And we said this yesterday, there are loads of kids down here. You can see them all getting autographs from the riders as well. As number 56, that is Roger Wibberley, very well known name here on the Isle of Man, heads down. So I'm just going to wander down and get my place on the wall, so I'll be able to tell you when they all set off. that
The
klaxon
fan
certainly
situation,
doing
I
its
bet. I'm
job.
sure there'll be a lot more people there today, will there be?
Yeah, it definitely seems like there are loads more people out, and obviously, you know, the sunshine really helps with that, doesn't it? And fingers crossed, that weather forecast. I know it's really misty in Douglas at the moment. It was beautiful there a little bit earlier, but about an hour or so ago, Manannan's Cloak had really closed in there. But fingers crossed, that's where it will stay, because it's really just glorious down here at the moment. I don't think the conditions could be any better as far as racing and qualifying this afternoon goes. Obviously, we've got the racing this evening. But all the riders just making their way to the dummy grid, and they're being followed by all the people just wanting to find the best vantage spot down there on Stadium Corner. I'm just up on my spot on the wall now. I'll have to tell you where this is, Chris, because it'll be very useful for you as well, I reckon.
I'm not biting for that at all. Just been told by the clerk of the course, Beth, we are underway in the next moment or so, so be prepared around this 4.25 mile Motor Isle Billown circuit for machines to leave. Now, these are the machines with the red plates and the white numbers. They are, well, the kind of machines from my childhood to be 750 Kawasaki's, 750 Suzuki's in there too. There's all sorts of things you see in the post-classic era now, which is such a big class. It really, really is. And we'll be underway with these guys going out in the next moment or two. Looking at lap record for it, it's Joe Yerdsley that holds that from 2023, 106.535, 106.535. Quickly back down to Beth, because the machine should be leaving any second now.
Yep, they will be getting underway now. As I say, it was brilliant talking to Grant Thompson. He's had a right couple of weeks of it, as he said, and didn't even know he was going to be here until Wednesday evening. But great to see him back. He would have been so disappointed not to contest that, and especially going out on that number one plate. But I think we are just about getting underway now, Chris. So those bikes will be heading their way to Cross Four Ways.
So they leave Beth at the club headquarters down there, they're down at the paddock there on the bypass, and they head up towards Ballakegan, and well, they'll be on the pipe today because that sun is going to make it so much better for these modern machines. And then they'll be blasting down the road that takes them down towards Iron Gate, over the railway bridge, which takes them alongside the Ballabeg station. If you do here on the island and you want to form a transport, there's nothing better than going on the train from Port Eyre and through to Douglas, or conversely the other way, and use all the local tourist attractions while you're here. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. It's always sunny like this here on the Isle of Man, believe you me. Then we head towards Ballinorish, Joey's Gate. Really tight and bumpy into there, and then it's very, very hard on the brakes into Ballabeg Hairpin, very bumpy on the entrance to that, not as bumpy on the exit, and a lot of resurfacing on this bit as you get out of Ballabeg Hairpin towards Balla Whetstone, all being resurfaced through there as you go past the Hamptons farm, past Stella where she has the stables there, on the A7 road that takes you through Williams, the back part of the circuit, very, very tight, very, very overhung with trees and also bushes. Obviously, that's the reason last night where we kind of lost the light. Then they'll head towards Cross Four Ways. That's just shy of 3 miles. If you go around the corner of Cross Four Ways, there's a little pull-in area on the left-hand side, which obviously you won't be able to now, but when the roads are open, there's a little pull-in area. That's about 3 miles round. Then they go to Church Bend, so quick through there. The quick right-left flip-flop chicane. Then down Great Meadow, flat out for these big bikes. 4 miles just before you get to Stadium Bend. Hard on the brakes into Castletown Corner. Over the bridge you come, past the second railway bridge on this 4.25 mile Motor Isle Billown course, and then you will finish here at the start and finish line. But it's Cross Four Ways. They're on the sighting lap. Rob Pritchard's there.
Yeah, good timing, Chris, because the first 5 machines on the way through, and at the back of that little convoy is the man who we heard from just a few moments ago, number 1, Grant Thompson. Just following in a few seconds further behind from that on this opening sighting lap is Ben Rainbow on the RAF MSA Suzuki. Paul Cassidy, Richard Ford, Indy de Koppel on the way through as well, Adrian Harrison and also Keith Pringle. So they're starting to steadily stream through Cross Four Ways on this opening lap. Try and compare this to what they were having to deal with last night. Of course, as we know, the session was cut short as 3 more machines make their way past us, but visibility is absolutely perfect. You see a little bit of a heat haze in the distance as they make their way towards us. Latest train on the way through, led by number 27, Tom Snow. Just time for numbers here. We've got 57. There's number 4, Mike Hose, 31. 44, 79 and 70. So Keith Clark and Harley Rushton at the back of that little convoy there. Number 68 through Cross Four Ways on this sighting lap is Roddy Taylor. To you, Chris.
First bikes come out of School Hill Rise, and there we go. It's number 100 Heffernan Owen first through. 18 Ryan Whitehall, that man we just heard from, Grant Thompson, number 1. They go through. 112 Rad Hughes, 56 Roger Wibley. That's the first 5 machines through. We look up once again, back into the sunlight they go. The sun is glinting off the fairings today. 5 Paul Cassidy, 55 through. His next is Ben Rainbow. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4 machines. Number 6, Adrian Harrison. 12, Richard Ford. 13, Michael. Indy de Koppel. And 83, Keith Pringle. They all go through. 11 runners past me so far here on lap number 1. This is only the out lap, so no time in at the moment. Scott Wilson goes through on 33 with 34, with 33 Chris Moore just in behind him. Newcomer number 22, Matthew Sardo, on his GSXR 750. He goes through. He's next. 27, Tom Snow, another newcomer. 24, Curtis Butler goes through. And number 4, Mike Hose. 57, Rob Mitchell-Hill. Number 70, Harley Rushton. Harley, of course, on that lovely 750 Yamaha. Then we've got a big scutch going through. A scutch in Manx terms, well, translated to the English, means quite a few. 44, Emmett Burke. 79, Keith Clark. 31, Colin Croft. 68, Rod Taylor. 26, Dennis Booth. 58, newcomer Richard Blunt. Newcomer 45, Andy Lovett. Can't believe he's never done this before. 77, Dan Pearson. And you just heard that Ducati there on number 121. He will be an addition to your programme. That's Israel Gillette. He will be an addition to your programme. As 51 goes through, that's Andy Kildare. But the leader on the road should be Heffernan Owen. Ryan Whitehall was right with him. And the third man on the road is the one to watch. It's Grant Thompson. Let's go back to Cross Four Ways.
And the first on the road here across Four Ways on this first flying lap is number 1, Grant Thompson. So he's pulled the pin just a little bit to get ahead of the rest of the field. Then it's number 100, Heaven Owen, and number 18, Ryan Whitehall. So both of them still toward the front of the order on this first flying lap. Then number 56, Roger Wibley in there on the 750 Suzuki, the GSXR. Number 112 and 5 is Paul Cassidy, so that's Rad Hughes and Paul Cassidy on the way through, and also Adrian Harrison on the Kawasaki ZX7. Indy de Koppel, and there was 83 and 55, Keith Pringle, and Ben Rainbow on the way through as well, and number 12, Richard Ford. Then a little bit of a gap in the field, so Grant Thompson, just a reminder, is at the head of the order on this first flying lap as number 33. Chris Moore arrives at Cross Four Ways as well, so Grant Thompson just seems to have picked up the pace a little bit to get himself ahead of the order. Heaven Owen, of course, he was first out in this session, first out in a couple of sessions last night. It seems that he was really keen to get going in a lot of these sessions. Over to Chris.
Let's have a listen to this. Grant Thompson full on. There he goes through, 2 minutes 30.298, 101.798 for Grant Thompson, the young Manxman. He is the first on the road, and he's quite clear of everybody else. 2 more bikes over the rise, back into the sun. Heffernan at 100. Number 18, Ryan Whitehall. Then we got number 56, Keith Pringle. Roger Wibley goes through, but Paul Cassidy, he jumps up to second place. Number 6, Adi Harrison, he's now jumped up to second place. So number 1, Grant Thompson, he leads, quickest time in the moment, 2 minutes 30.298, 101.798, the only man in the ton at the moment. 55 goes through. Ben Rainbow, number 6, Adrian Harrison. He's in second place. Adrian is with a speed of 99.895. Then it's number 5, Paul Cassidy at 98.402. 13, Mikhail Dukoppel at 96.695. 33, Chris Moore, he's 5th at 96.191. 83, Keith Pringle at 95.812. 56, Roger Wibley as 1, 2, 3, 4 machines go through. 27, Tom Snow, 24. And then, oh yes, a change. That's the man we're looking for. Harley Rushton on the 70 bike. He jumps up to 8th place. We'll let it settle down. 68, Roddy Taylor. 26, Dennis Booth go through. Dennis in 11th. Roddy Taylor in 12th. Then it's 57 goes through. Goodness me, as quick as that. 57 it's just gone through. Rob Mitchell-Hill. Colin Croft's just gone through. And Matthew Sardo. But with the news that Grant Thompson at the top of the moment with these senior superbikes at 101.798. Let's get back to Cross Four Ways.
Yeah, he's on the move. Here is Grant Thompson again on the second flying lap at Cross Four Ways, so 2.863 seconds ahead of his nearest challenger on these opening flying laps. Number 6, Adrian Harrison, as we've just been hearing as well. Just looking a little bit further outside of the top 10 that Chris Kinley was mentioning. Number 26, Dennis Booth on the first flying lap is sitting in 11th, around just under half a second back of Heaven Owen in 10th. Scotch of machines on the way through, led by 5, Paul Cassidy, Heaven Owen, Ryan Whitehall, Adrian Harrison, and Roger Wibley on the way through as well. So just looking a bit back, as I said, outside the top 10 to start with, as Indy de Koppel, who's run well on that first lap as well, first flying lap, 4th quickest, and Keith Pringle on the way through. We had Roddy Taylor 12th quickest on those first flying laps, 2:46.169 Roddy Taylor, the number 68 machine, so just around 1.7 seconds back off Dennis Booth. And then inside the top 15 is another newcomer, Curtis Butler, number 24, 2 minutes 46.967 on that previous lap as well, so another newcomer getting themselves into the top 15 or 20. To you, Chris.
And he's up the pace, Rob, this time to a 2 minutes 28.781, 102.836 for the number one. The Manxman there on the 750 machine, the 750 Kawasaki, the Duckshaw racing bike. The Port St Mary rider lives on Gansey there, 2 minutes 28.781. Second man on the road now. He's blasting through. That's Cassidy. Paul Cassidy jumps ahead of 80 Harrison, but that could change. Keep an eye on 80. There he is now. 80 stays in third, so it's the two Manxmen, 1-2. Cassidy in the 100. 2 minutes 32.577, 100.277, 3.796 seconds behind Grant Thompson. Then it's 680 Harrison. He's 99.895. Michael de Koppel, he improved that time with the 233.25 into fourth place for the number 13 bike. Then it's 83 Keith Pringle. He stays in fifth place with a 97.38. As 33 goes through, that's Chris Moore just gone through. Richie Ford also through. So it's 1 Thompson, 5 Cassidy, 6 Harrison, 13 de Koppel, 83 Pringle, 33 Moore, and 56 Wibley, your top 7 at the moment. Then it's 70 Rushton. That's the one we're waiting for. He's only completed one lap so far. I think he's not too far away. There he is. And does he improve that time? No, he doesn't. He will stay with a 2:41.377, staying in 7th place. Dennis Booth. Dennis Booth, had a good chat with Dennis before today. Dennis, the very likeable Northern Irishman, on the 26 bike. He's up to 6th place now at 96.402. So it's Thompson, Cassidy, Harrison, de Koppel, Pringle, Booth, Moore, Wibley, Rushton and Owen, your top 10. Back to Cross Four Ways.
And Thompson has just swept past us on this latest lap at Cross Four Ways. He's pulled out a big old gap to the rest of the field in behind, so well clear at the front of the order at the moment. So that gap now between Thompson at the top of the standings and Paul Cassidy is 3.796 seconds, so he's stretching it. Here is Paul Cassidy as well, so got a bit of responding to do if he wants to get into that pole position. Here's number 6, Adrian Harrison, running well in third at the moment. Only half a second off the pace of Paul Cassidy, so maybe the battle for place 2 not quite over. Heaven Owen, Ryan Whitehall, Indy de Koppel there just moving up the inside and past number 56, Roger Wibley there. So Michael de Koppel just moving up the order a little bit. A couple of seconds further back is Keith Pringle as well. Really not too much to choose between the challengers behind Thompson. We mentioned that Cassidy's 3.7 seconds back off Thompson, but then just over half a second is Adrian Harrison third, and then only 1/100th of a second back on Harrison is Michael de Koppel, another one to watch out for as number 33 Chris Moore comes past, currently running at 7th quickest. You mentioned before Dennis Booth as well. That was an excellent lap previously. Number 55, Ben Rainbow, on the way through. Where has Ben slotted in so far in this session? He's 19th quickest at the moment. Checkered flag is coming out, we believe, as well at the end of this session. Grant Thompson has gone through. Does he improve on that time? No, he doesn't. It's a 2:28.811. They, of course, have been slowing to come into the pits there as we get 24, 4 and 26 on the way. There's Dennis Booth, who we've just mentioned as well, running at 6th quickest. Paul Cassidy, has he gone quicker? Yes, he has. Paul Cassidy has brought that gap right down to Grant Thompson there to just 0.9 of a second, a 2:29.703 from Paul Cassidy. So from nearly 4 seconds back on the pace of Thompson, who may well have been just as number 58 Richard Blunt, one of the newcomers, comes past us across 4 ways. So Paul Cassidy had a fair bit of ground to make up, but seemed to make the most of it on that final flying lap, if you like. More passing through the checkered flag at the moment. So as it stands, here's how it looks in the senior superbikes as numbers 44 and 57 stream past us. 31, 22 and 77, only time for the numbers there. So that gap between Thompson and Cassidy is just 0.9 of a second. 4.2 seconds back now on Cassidy is Adrian Harrison. So those front two just started to move away in terms of the timings on the boards. There's number 121, Israel Gillette, coming past us as well. 4.5 seconds, just under 4.5 seconds back on Adrian Harrison is Michael de Koppel as well, so he's sitting in 4th at the moment. Harley Rushton into 5th at the moment in this session as well, just above Dennis Booth in 6th. And Harley Rushton is around 2.1 seconds off Michael de Koppel off the pace there, just over a second further back off Rushton is number 26 Dennis Booth in 6th. 7th and only 500ths of a second off the pace of Dennis Booth. In fact, I was going to mention Keith Pringle there. He's now dropped down to 8th and Dennis Booth down to 7th because number 34 Scott Wilson has actually moved up into 6th, so a late charge from Scott Wilson there, who we mentioned a couple of times last night with a couple of notable displays in qualifying as well. So Scott Wilson now slots up into 6th, and he's only 1/100th of a second of Harley Rushton at 5th quickest. Mentioned Dennis Booth and Keith Pringle, 7th and 8th quickest so far, respectively. Completing the top 10 at the moment in this session is number 33, Chris Moore, 9th quickest. And that quickest time, 2:37.850, and that was on his final lap as well. And then completing the top 10 is number 56, Roger Wibley, who's right toward the front of the order in this session as well. Best time for Roger Wibley was a 2:39.877, so some 2 seconds off the pace of Chris Moore. Just looking a little further outside the top 10 if we've got time. We've got number 18, Ryan Whitehall, 11th quickest in that session at the moment, a 2:40.055, the best lap from Ryan Whitehall. Then 12th quickest is number 100, Heaven Owen. And Heaven Owen just over half a second, 0.580 seconds off the pace of Ryan Whitehall, and 0.8 seconds back off Heaven Owen is number 4, Mike Hose, who did seem to be caught up in quite a bit of traffic in that session, as well as one of the course inspection cars makes their way past us as well. Running inside the top 20, always like to give the mention, are 2 newcomers, 14th and 15th quickest in that session as well. Mentioned it before, number 24, Curtis Butler, 14th quickest, 2:41.854, the quickest time from Curtis Butler there. And then slotting in behind him, 15th, another newcomer in number 58, Richard Blunt, who I think was toward the back of the order on that final lap as well and had plenty of tarmac towards himself. Another one of the course inspection cars making their way past us here, a 2:43.046 for Richard Blunt. And then we'll just quickly round out the top 20 here. 16th quickest, number 68, Roddy Taylor. 17th quickest, number 12, Richard Ford. 18th quickest is 55, Ben Rainbow. 19th quickest, 27, Tom Snow. And then completing your top 20, number 79, Keith Clark. Back to you, Chris.
Great numbers there, Rob. Thank you very much for that. It's so great that you've got obviously the MyLaps Speed Hive, which you can follow all the timings for all the action here. If you do have that, I know a lot of you go to the race circuits will have MyLaps on your phone. You'll be able to just search out the Billown circuit. It's all on there. Got down to 20th for Keith Clark, 21st for number 77, Dan Pearson, 22nd for 45, newcomer Andy Lovett, 23rd for 121, Israel Gillette, 24th for number 44, Emmett Burke, 25th for 31, Colin Croft, 26th for number 57, Rob Mitchell-Hill, 27 for number 51, Andy Kildee, who pulled into the pits actually, only did 2 laps, and 28th for number 22, newcomer Matthew Sardo. So we've got the klaxon going on as we've got the old course cars just heading past us here now. One's just gone past. The next action on the circuit will be any moment now. Let's get back down to the Parc Fermé, the paddock area, and Beth Espey.
I tell you what, I don't know much about bikes yet, but I know that these look absolutely magnificent. So these are going to be the ones that are going out in race 1 a little bit later. We've got these classic machines which have just been waiting by the gate there. Quite a spectacle to see Shelley Pike just pulling out onto the road. It's always great to see her here. She sports obviously the orange gear as well. She's got a 3-legged man on the back of her machine, so they're all just making their way down to the dummy grid, some of them needing a little bit more help than others. You can see the number 23 machine here, that's Adrian Schaefer's just having a little bit of an issue and is hoping somebody might be able to just come and give him a little bit of a hand. He's waving to see if he can get any help there, but they're all making their way down to the dummy grid. I mean, conditions still pretty much perfect down here, Chris, and I tell you what, the noise of these ones really takes your breath away.
Yeah, quickest last night was Paul Cassidy on his 350 Honda K4. He did 4 laps, best time of a 2:58.943, 85.502 for Paul Cassidy. Second was number 21, Will Loader on his 350. It's 2 classes in this one, 350s and 250s. So Will Loader on his Greaves Alton, 3 minutes 01.3, 84.389. And third was number 40, the first of the 250s. His Honda was Barry Davison at 3 minutes 15.463, 78.276. Third of the 350s and fourth overall was number 11, Andrew Guy on his BSA Gold Star, 3 minutes 19.2, 76.8. And then we've got Owen Monaghan, the second 250 in 5th place, and the third 250 in 7th was Gary Hutton. Bikes, I believe, Beth, are now making their way around the Motor Isle Billown circuit.
They certainly are, yeah. Adrian Scaife got a little bit of a push down the road, so I'm really hoping that he's going to get away because, I mean, that's just so frustrating, isn't it? You should see somebody, though, literally jumping over the barrier to help him, and I think that just sums up what this race meeting is all about. It is incredibly supportive. So hopefully he is going to be out there and making his way over to Rob at Cross Four Ways. But, yeah, all the bikes now have left this dummy grid here.
So we mentioned the top 3 in each class. So Cassidy, Loader and Guy, the top 3. And of course the 2 times will be collated together, and their best time will obviously be the time that they will get for their qualifying position. 250s then, we mentioned Barry Davison in 3rd place was the quickest of those, with Owen Monaghan the second one, and Gary Hutton with the third one. Bit of a story for Gary Hutton. We'll try and give you out as the week goes by. Got a message from some of the guys from the Tandragee Club. Apparently he had lots and lots of clutch went on his van on the day he went to the boat. A 6 a.m. call to his son Mark Cowan and Jarno Holland, former 250 rider and current assistant clerk of the course. They managed to, basically like Beth just said there, just pull it all together and get the guy here. And he is going okay, third in class at the moment on his 250 machine. Out to cross four ways, going to be a bit noisier this time, Rob Pritchard.
Yeah, I think it is. And Paul Cassidy and Will Loader, as we've already mentioned as well, were very much the standard bearers and the benchmark in this 350 singles and 250 singles classic when they opened things up last night. So here is the first machine out on the road, heading towards us at Cross Four Ways. It's a number 93 machine there. That's actually one of the previous senior superbikes, I think it is, actually on the way through. So maybe they'd stopped on the previous session and have been allowed to get back towards the paddock. And looking down, one more machine interview here at Cross Four Ways. And that is another one of the orange-plated machines out there, the 105 machine. So I wonder if there were just a couple of machines that were just lacking towards the end of the last session. Number 16, Owen Monaghan, is the first of the 250s. And then number 4, Mike Ho, is the first of the 350s on the blue plates. There's Will Loader, second quickest in the previous session. 29, Martin Tranter. And number 63 is Gary Abbott. Number 40, Barry Davidson. Quickest of the 250s and the defending 250 champion in this class coming into this year. The winner in 2025. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are making their way towards us here at Cross Four Ways as number 94, Terence Sansom on this. Somebody like Ewan Hamilton, Shelley Pike running well inside the top 10 last night. It was 98, 78 and 11 on the way through. There's Andrew Guy. Number 9, Chris McGarn, also here at Cross Four Ways and just coasting towards us at the moment is number 73, Joris Vastenackels. It looks like, yep, Joris is pulling in here at Cross Four Ways. That could well be a retirement as numbers 30 and 60 on the way past. That's Mark Michaud and number 60, Gary Hutton. Gary Hutton was going well last night in the 250 class. So, yeah, just a reminder here, Joris Vastenackels has just pulled over here at Cross Four Ways. Maybe just some mechanical gubbins going on. Whether he gets things back underway for this session or that is the end of the session, we'll just have to wait and see. Number 71, Richard Boole on the Ducati Mach 1 on the way through Cross Four Ways as well. Back to you, Chris.
Just had two of the 400s who are allowed to go out at the front of this session. Stephen Gorton and Stephen Sewell go through. Owen Monaghan is the first on the road on the 16 bike with number 4, Mike Hose, and number 21, Will Loader, just in behind with those guys. Next two through, 63, Gary Abbott, 40, Barry Davison, and of course the green plates and the blue plates on these machines, the 251s, the 350s there, of course, on the blue plates, and the 175 to 250s, they're on the green plates, and there is a 250 of Martin Tranter on the 29 bike. Martin goes through. Martin qualified 16th on his Ducati yesterday. 72, Shelley Pike, 94, Terence Sansom. You will see some bikes mixed in with these as well in different coloured plates, modern looking bikes, mainly 400s, okay. Enrico Belcito, he's a rider who's out there in this class, and Stephen Gorton and Stephen Sewell, and there's a couple of others in there as well. I think number 98, Robert Coley is also, and Robert's on his gold star today. There is 2 or 3, maybe 4 bikes just in and out of class. So Mike Hose is the leader on the road on the number 4 machine. He was, where was Mike yesterday on this Lee Gorley Bataco? He was down in 9th place. So that'll make him 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5th in class. So Mike will be looking to up the pace a little bit today in these perfect conditions. Let's get out for our first time lap to Cross Four Ways and Rob Pritchard.
Yeah, thanks for that clarity, Chris, as well, on the fact that it's 400s out there, not what I said before, that I thought it was just a couple of senior superbikes that were being allowed to get back to the paddock there. So, yeah, thanks for clarifying that you will see a couple of the 400 machines out there. They've been given dispensation to be involved in this particular session. And one of those that just went past us first on the road is one of the 400s. That's the newcomer, number 93, Stephen Gorton, who was running extremely well on his 400 last night. Another one of the 400s on the way through. That is Stephen Sewell, another of the newcomers as well. So there are a couple of 400 machines. Here's the first of your 2 350s. And that's number 4, Mike Hose, and number 21, Will Loader, on the way through. These two right out in front in terms of the 350 class out there as well. The first of the 250s now arrives on this first flying lap. That's number 16, Owen Monaghan. Really can't draw too many conclusions from that first sighting lap. It's the first real lapse in anger in this particular class that these riders will have for today. There is number 40, Barry Davidson. So a little bit spread out at the moment. These leading on the road, I should say, leading 350 and 250 machines from the rest of the field. A couple of seconds further back here is number 63, Gabby Abbott on the BSA Gold Star. and then a big old gap in the road, because we can see from our position almost right to the crest of the hill as they make their way towards us. Number 72, Shelley Pike, arrives actually just as well. For a bit of clarity, we mentioned that number 73, Joris Vastenackels, pulled over on the previous lap across 4 ways as Andrew Guy, Chris McGahn, Terence Sansom come past us here. Joris Vastenackels did actually get the bike going again and was on his way, so may still be circulating around the Billown Course, or may have pulled in on that lap, but did actually get going again from cross 4 ways. There's number 7, Ewan Hamilton, number 98, Robert Coley, and number 29 as well, Martin Tranter on the Farron Ducati. Back to you, Chris.
It's Mike Hose who is the quickest man on track at the moment on his bull tackle. We mentioned he had to up the pace to 2:59.061, so that already slots him into provisional second on the road. He's had Will Loader just behind him. Will did a 2:59 there, and Will did a 2:301 yesterday, so Will has already gone quicker as well. Owen Monaghan through on the 16 bike, 3 minutes 15.4 for Owen, so that's quicker for Owen again, so everybody is up on the pace, but Mike Hose with an 85.466 as Barry Davison goes through, 3 minutes 13.5 for Barry. That's quicker again, so he's knocked 2 seconds off that, so the leaderboard will change obviously with the times from yesterday having to be adjusted. He's 63 going through next. That's Gary Abbott. Where was Gary yesterday? Gary was down in 12th place with a 3:31.9. Gary's just on a 3:26. Shelley Pike, she goes through in 72. Andrew Guy, he goes through on 11. Chris McGahn through on 9. Another one of the 400s going through. 94. Terence Sansom goes through. But it is Mike Hose who at the moment on the corrected time is only, what did Cassidy do? A 2:58.9, and Hose has done a 2:59.06. So there's only 700ths of a second between Hose and Cassidy at the top. Then it'll be Will Loader who will complete that front row as it stands at the moment. As number 60, Gary Hudson goes through. Number 30 through next, Mark Michaud, he goes through. 29 is next across the line. 29 is Martin Tranter, and Martin Tranter goes by, and they're out on lap number 3. So Mike Hose, Rob Pritchard, he's the leader at the moment, 85.446.
He is indeed, and just doing some quick, brief maths in my head as well. I think that means that less than half a second separates the quickest times of Cassidy last night, as well as Mike Hose, currently quickest in the 350s at the moment, ahead of Will Loader as well, only 200ths of a second further back. There's the number 105 machine, the 400 of Stephen Sewell. Here's number 21, Will Loader, and number 4, Mike Hose. Will Loader now ahead of Hose on the road here, so maybe Will Loader's just picked up the pace on the way from Ballabeg and through those sweeping S's under the trees, past Ballawhetstone and then down into the dip coming towards us there. So Will Loader now leading on the road as well, so I do wonder if those two have maybe been just jostling for a little bit of tactical position out there on this latest lap, whether that's going to take time out of Will Loader or it's actually going to benefit him a little bit more to have a bit more extra fresh tarmac in front of him for the remainder of this lap. First of the 250s on the road is number 16, Owen Monaghan, and he slots in second quickest of the 250s in this session so far behind this man, Barry Davidson. Here comes Davidson. So that was a 3:13.503, Barry Davidson. That's your benchmark in the 250 class at the moment. And we've already heard as well, Mike Hose, that 2:59.061 is the benchmark in the 350s. We should be getting Hose and Loader through in the next couple of moments on the start-finish line. There's another big gap in the road here as well, but a couple of other mentions in the 350s. Chris McGahn and Andrew Guy, numbers 9 and 11 machines respectively, are also going well, as number 72, Shelley Pike, who's at the head of 3 machines here. Back to you, Chris.
And it is Will Loader, as you quite rightly say, is just ahead of him. He'll cross the line first, but Mike Hose in there. There's 3 minutes to go in the session. Will Loader goes quickest. Will Loader will take provisional pole with a 2:57.749, 86.076. Mike Hose that time not as quick, at 2 minutes 59.27 compared to a 2:59.061. So Will Loader will be on pole. Mike Hose will be in the middle of him and Paul Cassidy. That's provisional at the moment. Obviously, you have to get the official results from the organisers with this, but this is just quickly me working out in my head. This is Owen Monaghan. Such a strange line. He comes so close to the clubhouse, to the start and finish. What are we calling this? A hut? Start and finish hut. Anyway, Owen Monaghan through on the 16, 78.556 as Barry Davison goes through. Sounds like Barry could be pulling into the pits there, down with Beth, but Barry will be the quickest 250 on the 40 bike with a 3:13.503. But Will Loader on provisional pole on that number 21 machine, the Greaves Alton bike, and that'll be 4. How many laps is that he's done? He's done 7 on that now. And what have we got there now? So Loader and Hose will be your 250s. 72 and 11 go through. I think Shelley Pike just put a foot out there to Andrew Guy just to say thank you very much for letting me through. Shelley at the moment, where's Shelley slotting into? Shelley Shots into 9th place at the moment, but again, this is all needs jumping around with all the times, etc. that have to be splitted in from the first session. 2 minutes to go in this one, but with the news that Will Loader is on provisional pole for this 250-350 singles race at 86.076, we go back to cross four ways.
Yeah, just 1.3 seconds between Loader and Jose, and that means now both of them are actually under the benchmark set by Paul Cassidy last night. And yeah, Mike Hose just around, I want to say, is around 0.8 of a second quicker than Paul Cassidy's quickest time from last night here. So there's one of the 400 machines that's been given dispensation to go out, and following right behind is number 4, Mike Hose as well. Not seeing the number 21 machine of Will Loader, so Mike Hose is getting another lap, and I think he feels he's getting held up just a little bit here as number 71, Richard Boole, arrives on the previous lap as well here at Cross Four Ways. So Mike Hose has stayed out on that 350, maybe thinks he can get a little bit more pace in before the checkered flag there. Those two were jostling for places on the road, he and Will Loader on that previous lap as well. Mike Hose just slotting right in behind the 400 as well. I think there was just a little bit of a chirp on the throttle there as well, maybe just a bit of an audible signal to the rider in front. Look, I'm trying to get another hot lap in here, could you please very kindly just shift out the way while I get past Cross Four Ways. Of the first in the order of the 250s on the road on this latest lap is number 16, Owen Monaghan. Second quickest in the 250s so far, behind number 40, Barry Davidson there. Barry Davidson was a couple of seconds back in the order on the road on Owen Monaghan last time out. Not seeing Barry Davidson at the moment here on this lap across four ways, so maybe Barry Davidson has indeed pulled into the pits as well. Maybe a couple of them are just happy with how things have been going. Looking elsewhere in the 250s, got to give a mention as well, looking a bit further down. 13th quickest on the overall timings for all the classes, but in contention for the top 3 is 94 Terence Sansom. To you, Chris.
Well, we didn't get Will Loader at the end of the lap, unfortunately, Rob. That was a bit of a shame. Mike Hose has just come through. Mike backed off on that lap with a 3:02. 2:88. A checkered flag will be, I think the checkered flag is out now as well, so that will be the end of the session. Let's get down to Beth, actually, with the news, though, that Will Loader will be on provisional pole with an 86.076 in the 350-250 class. Beth is down there for us. Beth.
Yeah, I just want to catch up with one of the other newcomers to this event. This is Dan Nourish here to stand next to his machine. Dan, how's it going so far?
Okay, I'm just here to learn, you know what I mean. I've put an entry in for the Southern on my newer bike, so hopefully a few laps around this weekend, hopefully qualify, and yeah, just here to just literally learn. I'm not expecting nothing, just try and get something in my old brain, you know what I mean. But yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Tell us about the machine we've got here. Tell us about it.
It's just a CBR 600 F3. It's, I've been building it the last couple of years, but I literally only finished it last month. So yeah, it's same again, learning on that. I had a run out on it at the Anglesey meeting with NG. It went okay. So yeah, just keep checking it over and making sure that I'm safe and I'm learning. That's all it's about, just trying to learn all the time.
Well, it's great to see you with a smile on your face. We'll catch up with you at the end of the weekend, Dan. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nice to hear from the newcomers here. More riders continuing to finish their laps. So we're just having a little look at some of the times here. Obviously, these will be, some of them be irrelevant because everybody seems to have improved most of their laps some today. Will Loader then quickest with a 257.749 in the 350 class, with Mike Hose just in behind him with a 259.0. But that time for Paul Cassidy from last night, 258.943. So it will be Loader, Cassidy and Hose across the front row. In the 250s, let's have a little look there now. What's his, where's it gone? I've moved me pieces of paper. There we go. Barry Davison did the 3:15.4, but it's Owen Monaghan who's going to be the first of the 250s with a 3:13.3 compared to Barry Davison's 3:13.5. So that's a pretty good lap there. And then third in that should be, let's have a little look there now. It should be Joris Vastenackels, I think that will be. Yeah, it will be Joris Vastenackels on the 73 bike. He will be the third quickest in there with a 3:23.530. Quickly go out to Rob Pritchard. Rob, just your thoughts on that one. We did think the pace was going to get up, but Will Loader on that provisional pole.
Yeah, we did expect that given the conditions, didn't we? You mentioned again Joris Vastenackels, and that's a very good session considering, like I mentioned earlier, he actually stopped here at Cross Four Ways on the previous lap, maybe just to work something out, and had a quick chat with the marshals. Then when it was safe to go, so he's done so again. He's managed to get in quite a few laps before reaching the checkered flag. We'll probably be heading down toward the start-finish line down the bypass there in a couple of moments as a couple of the course inspection cars come through. I was going to mention it, but you beat me to it, Chris. The fact that Owen Monaghan is going to be the leading of the 250 machines as the course inspection cars come past us here. So that could be an interesting battle between Owen Monaghan and Barry Davidson. Just 0.131 of a second between those two. So in the battle for the 250s in what is going to be this combined race when it does come around, that could be an interesting battle between the two of those. Looking a little bit further back as well, I mentioned just the last time you came to us as well, number 94, Terence Sansom, who was on the podium for the 250s last year in this particular race. He has just been, I suppose, ousted, if you like, by Fasterknuckles. Only just over a second, though, 1.051 seconds, so really not too far off that. So Sansom, you would imagine, if he can keep that bike singing as it has been in this qualifying session, will be potentially in the contention for those podium places once again. Looking a little bit further as well, the 350 of Mark Michaud. That's best time of 3 minutes 24.619. And 63 Gary Abbott as well on the 350 on the BSA Gold Star. That was a 326.522. And then the number 60 machine, Gary Hutton, on another of those 250s at 326.591. We understand that the klaxon is going over in the paddock area and probably about getting time to get the next session underway in the next few minutes. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you very much out there at Cross Four Ways. A beautiful day here on the Isle of Man. If you are listening further afield, welcome to Manx Radio Motorsports coverage of the Blackford Financial Services Pre-TT Classics. Let's get down to Beth. We've got the big bikes heading out, Beth. The 1100's going to be out on course very shortly.
I think you've thrown to me. I can't actually hear you. To be honest, my ears are rattling. But yeah, the bike's just making their way down to the dummy grid. I can just see Andy Mack there, just sort of wheeling it down a little bit. I don't know if there's a problem there or whether he's just nursing it a little bit because he's doing that intentionally. But I hope he gets out there. We need to catch a word with him because obviously he's back racing after what was a really difficult few months. But it's great to see him back here supporting the events in the Isle of Man. So all just making their way down to the dummy grid now, and it's always great to see the crowd sort of following them as well, wanting to see them set off and get that best vantage point down there. So these are the bikes that will be in race 2 a little bit later on this evening. I tell you what, it moves quickly here, doesn't it? You think you've got all weekend, and before you know it, it's moving on, and that racing will get underway once the roads close at 6 p.m. this evening. But can you hear those machines? That's number 64 there, which is just getting a little bit of a push down the road. That is one of our newcomers there. Great to see so many of the newcomers, and they're all here with their big smiles on their face because a lot goes into getting the riders here. We talk about this so much, but it's great to see them here and enjoying it. For some of them, it's their first road race as well, so that really is quite an experience. That is number 75, Neil Lloyd, going past there on a 500 Honda. Hope I said that right. That sounds absolutely incredible. That'll be one to look at and to hear when it gets out onto the course. And that was number 70 just going past there. So that's Harley Rushton, obviously keeping an eye on him. But the bikes are now getting out on course and heading out over towards where Rob is. So Chris, back to you.
Quickest last night was number 42, Andy Hornby, on a 750 Triumph for 2 minutes 49.395, 90.321 for him, the first of the 750s. Second was number 2, Alan Oversby, on a CB500 Honda, 2 minutes 50.086, 89.954. And third quickest, just seen him out in the last one on the 21 bike, Will Loader, on a Sealy 500, 2 minutes 50.3, 89.835. The second of the big bikes, because there's two classes in this, the 500cc machines with the yellow plates and the black numbers, and the over 500s, they'll have white plates and the black numbers. Number 12, Richard Ford, on the 920 Bob Jackson Norton, 2 minutes 51.8, 89.020. And fifth quickest, number 34, Scott Wilson, on the 500 Norton, 254.173, 87.8. There's number 100 F&O at 87.8, 70 Harley Rushton at 87.7. And then we've got number 51, Andy Kildare, on the 750 Honda, 86.7. A black bomber thing he has. And then ninth place newcomer. Showed well yesterday on that Suzuki. Kevin Lavery, keep an ear on that. Sounds lovely. 80.46 in your top 10. Another newcomer, 25, Dominic Vesey, on his Triumph Trident at 77.22. Cross four ways at lap number 1.
I think this was one of the couple of classes we had last night, didn't we? That when those first flying laps started coming in, the timing systems just went absolutely haywire. It just seemed to be chopping and changing every second, effectively, towards the particularly toward the top of that order. A reminder as well that only just over 5 seconds separated the quickest time by Andy Hornby, right down to number 70, Harley Rushton, in 7th as well. Oversby, Loader, Ford, Wilson and Owen also in the mix there. And here is Heaven Owen. He's back first out on the road once again. Heaven Owen followed closely in tow by number 2, Alan Oversby, second quickest in last night's session. Then we've got number 51, Andy Kildee. Number 37, Gary Porter. Two of those on the white plated machines. The first two white plated machines out on the road for this opening sighting lap, if you like. Number 74, David McTravers on the matchless Seeley. Got number 4, Mike Oates, number 21, Will Loader, and number 12, Richard Ford there. So those that were running toward the front of the timings last night in Alden, there was the quickest man from last night, number 42, Andy Hornby, just moving in ahead of number 66, Robert Knoll on the BSA Gold Star there. So Hornby was the pace setter last night, if you like, but really not too much to choose between a lot of them. There's number 110, Brian Appleton, and then another of those newcomers, as we've just heard from Chris Kinley as well, who went well last night, number 25, Dominic Veazey, number 34, and then we've got number 35 as well, that's Andy Jessup on the Laverna, the 840. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 making their way towards us. Number 70, Harley Rushton, 7th quickest last night. Number 50 is in there, Dave Glover. Number 75, Neil Lloyd. Number 64, and also number 114, Andy McAllister at the back of that particular group as well. So these first flying laps of this session will be getting underway in the next few moments when they do start making their way back down the bypass. Will it just be as chaotic from a timing perspective as it was last night? We'll wait and see. To you, Chris.
Well, Alan Oversby on 2, 100 Heffernan, 51 Andy Kildee and 37 Gary Porter have all gone through. There's number 4 Mike Hose, number 12, 21. They all safely go through as well. So number 4 Mike Hose wasn't actually out in this session yesterday. Did I catch a time for him yesterday? No, we didn't in this one. So Mike will be trying to make ructions up the leaderboard. The 12 Richard Ford gone through, 21 Will Loader, 74 Dave McTravers and 42 Andy Hornby all safely gone through, with number 66 Robert Noyle all safely past us here on this opening session. Two more, 110 and 25. They all go through. 110 Brian Appleton, 25 goes through as well. Dominic Veazey, the newcomer, 10th for him in qualifying yesterday. Two more blast out from under the trees. One I think going a little bit slower. It's number 70 Harley Ruston. Now he's got it back on the pipe again. That's 35. That is local man Andy Jessup with Harley Ruston. There's Scott Wilson in there. Andy Jessup all gone safely through. Wait to see Kevin Lavery just went. Yeah, Kevin Lavery gone through on the 64 bike as well. So Kevin shown well again. He qualified down in 9th place yesterday, but it'll be the next time round when we manage to get the results through. As number 114 with a problem now. Beth did mention about Andy McAllister on the Brixton Honda. He had a few problems, but he's pulling back into the pits there now. So for Andy McAllister fans over there in Northern Ireland, looks like Andy is going to be a retirement in this one. So Oversby, first man on the road from Owen Kildare, Porter, Hose, Ford, Loader, McTravers, Hornby, Noyle. They're your top 10 on the road. Back to Cross Four Ways.
Yeah, first two on the road arriving. There is Alan Oversby, number 100, Heaven Owen. So although Oversby now leads on the road at the very least, he's got Heaven Owen for company out there. Number 51, Andy Kildee. First of those white plated machines, and then number 37, Gary Porter as well. So the first of those two machines that are in the over 500cc category, if you like, in this one. There is number 4, Mike Hose, as we were hearing from Chris before. Didn't really get much time out on this machine last night. 12, Richard Ford, 21, Will Loader, and number 42, Andy Hornby. Hornby just starting to catch those two machines in front of him. He was a little further back in the order on that first sighting lap, but Hornby just seems to be gathering a little bit of extra pace there, catching up with Richard Ford and Will Loader out there on this particular lap. So maybe, just maybe, he's starting to pick up the pace just a little bit more, is Andy Hornby, the pace setter, as we've already mentioned from this session last night as well. That particular group has left out quite a big gap to the rest of the field. In fact, looking as to when they came across the line last time as well, there were actually a couple closer together, but we're already hearing a few going back into the pits. Back to you, Chris.
Here we go, opening lap then for the big bikes, but it's Mike. Who is it first on the road? It is, yeah, it's Alan Oversby on the 2. 247.841 for him, 91.158. So that's quicker than what he did yesterday. 51 Andy Kildee, he just goes past, he slots in the second place. Heffernan has just gone through. 37 Gary Porter, he's through as well. Just give you this at the moment. Now, this could be a change. Mike Hose goes top. Mike Hose, 247.6, 91.259. He is quickest overall. There he is. That's the one we're waiting for. That is Andy Hornby, 2 minutes 48.48. Quicker than what he did yesterday, but he's second overall at the moment. So at third, actually, that will be. 247.6 means that Mike Hose is on pole, 91.259. Alan Oversby at 91.158. And then Andy Hornby, 90.812. Quicker than what he did last night. He's third. Then it's 51 Andy Kildare. He's done 89.6. 100 Heffernan at 89.533. And sixth for number 21, Will Loader at 88.97. One more machine interview. That's Scott Wilson. It is. Scott slots into 9th. Two more, three more, 25, 66 and 70. 70 Harley Rushton, 25 Dominic Veazey, 66 Robert Noyle. They all safely go through. As we look up the road, no more machines at the moment. So it's Hose that leads, 2 minutes 47.655. Snatchers pole at 64. The newcomer Kevin Lavery goes through. He slots into provisional 11th at the moment at 81.257. But with the news, we have a new overall leader, Mike Hose, on the number 4 machine. Mike, of course, riding that machine. The Seeley Westlake, the JD Racing, Andy Norris Racing bike. There's 2 or 3 more machines flash past us. Let's get back to Cross Four Ways.
Mike Hose and Alan Oversby contending for top spot. How many times have we said that at this meeting over the years? First on the road here is number 100, Evan Owen, and then number 51, Andy Kildee. So I wonder if Alan Oversby has either pulled in on that previous lap or has stopped potentially before they got to us on this latest one. Here is your current session leader, number 4, Mike Hose. Just ahead on the road, a couple of seconds ahead, number 37, Gary Porter, who was 7th quickest on the line. There's Will Loader and Andy Hornby on the way through. Hornby 3rd quickest, Loader 6th quickest, and number 12, Richard Ford, who was 8th quickest on these opening flying laps. Just looking a bit outside the top 10. In fact, we'll complete the top 10 from those latest flying laps. It was number 70, Harley Rushton, 9th quickest on the latest, well, the best time so far of a 2:57.749, and then number 34, Scott Wilson, who we heard go past Chris a few moments ago as well. Just outside the top 10 this time around, the 2 newcomers we mentioned ahead of today's session, number 64, Kevin Lavery, and number 25, Dominic Veazey, both 11th and 12th quickest in these opening flying laps respectively. Lavery a 3 minutes 8.291, Veazey a 3 minutes 9.661. Then number 75, Neil Lloyd, 13th quickest. Here's number 34, Scott Wilson, on the way through. So Scott, as we've mentioned, just as a reminder, he's running in 10th. To you, Chris.
Let's have a little listen to this one. This is Heffernan Owen. And Heffernan Owen goes through, doesn't improve that time with a 2:55.1. Nobody else improves at the moment. Somebody just with a hand up there. I think that's Mike O's going to be pulling in. It is. Yeah, so Mike's pulling into the pits there now. So he does a 2:51 that time. 1, 2, 3 machines. Andy Hornby's in the middle of that with Will Loader. As number 37 is just pulled in as well, Gary Porter. Andy Hornby not improving that time. Will Loader has improved, stays 4th. We'll work out the corrected times in a moment. 2 minutes 50.53 for Will. That is a lap speed of 89.716 compared to what he did yesterday. 2 minutes 50.313. He's just in the 2 minutes 50.538. So not as quick as yesterday for Will. That'll slot him into around about 4th place at the moment as the road goes quiet. Just to recap then, number 4, Mike Hose quickest, 2 minutes 47.655, lap speed 91.259. Then we got number 2, Alan Oversby, 91.158. Here's Scott Wilson again. And Scott moves up, 7th place for Scott, 2 minutes 52.396 on the 500 Norton, 2 minutes 52.396, 88.749. Less than 3 minutes to go till the end of this session. Number 37, Gary Porter. Let's have a listen to this coming through. That's the 750 Trident of number 25, Dominic Veazey. He's the newcomer, 11th provisionally at the moment. And let's hear from Andy McAllister, who sadly retired out of the session as number 64, Kevin Lavery, goes through. Beth.
Yeah, just standing with Andy now, shaking your head. What's happened?
Yeah, we're just unfortunately having some gear selection issues with the gearbox here. We found an issue there last night in practice, and we brought her back in, tried to work on it all last night there. A few wee sort of field modifications to it, but it's just not enough. There's an issue with the crankcases there. It's a little spud that holds the gear selector, and it's just not doing its job. So you can't go in the corners in neutral or not getting a gear, so unfortunately we're having to pull the plug.
Oh, that's just gutting, isn't it? I mean, after everything you've been through over the past few months and getting here and whatever, it's a lot. This is road racing, I guess.
Yeah, that's life and that's racing. You just have to keep your head up. But unfortunately, we put a lot of effort getting me back to normal and getting bikes here to come and have a bit of crack. But sure, it is what it is.
It really is. Good to talk to you, Andy.
Thanks, Isabel.
Andy McAllister speaking to Beth Espey. While we were down there, we had number 75 go through, Neil Lloyd, and also number 35, Andy Jessup. We're nearly coming to the end of the session. Let's go back to Cross Four Ways.
Yeah, Scott Wilson coming past us on this latest flying lap on the Craven Classic Racing machine. So we did see as well, just before you came to us as well, both Andy Hornby and Will Loader following a few seconds back off Andy Kildee, and Hornby actually ahead on the road of Will Loader this time around. He's been catching as the session's gone on, and maybe just as the field has thinned a bit with a couple of retirements and machines pulling in as well, it's allowed him just to pick up the pace a little bit. He's ahead of Will Loader on the road as it stands. They'll be heading down the bypass very shortly, if not heading through at this moment. And Andy Hornby has actually gone top here, so a 2 minutes 46.880 as number 25 Dominic Vesey, who actually took nearly a second and a half out of his last lap on the last flying lap. Good improvement there, but Andy Hornby has gone top in this session, a 2 minutes 46.880, so that's 7/10 of a second, just over 7/10 of a second quicker than the previous standard set by number 4 Mike Hose. Number 66 Robert Noyle comes past us at Cross Four Ways. So as it stands at the moment, Hornby quickest, then it's Mike Hose, a 2:47.655. Mike Hose's best time at number 64 Kevin Lavery on the way past through Cross Four Ways on this latest lap. Third quickest, number 2, Alan Oversby, who's only just under 2/10 of a second behind number 4, Mike Hose there, a 2:47.841. The best time, that's the loud and proud machine of number 75, Neil Lloyd, on the way through. The checkered flag is now out, so this session will be coming to an end in the next few moments. So it's Hornby, Hose and Oversby making up your top 3 in this session. Then just outside, a second and a half, just over a second and a half actually off the pace of Oversby, is number 21, Will Loader. Just over a second back on Loader in 5th is number 51, Andy Kildee. So that rounds out your top 5, just 1/10 of a second back off Kildee. 6th quickest at the moment is number 100, Heaven Owen. Number 35, Andy Jessup, you can hear going passes on the Laverda machine. Also inside the top 10, number 34, Scott Wilson as well. So 7th quickest, a 2:51.197. 8th quickest, number 37, is Gary Porter, a 2:53.672. His best time around the Billown Course in this session. 9th quickest, number 12, Richard Ford, a 2:53.724. There's number 51, Andy Kildee as well. So he's managed to get another lap in before the checker flag, as is number 42, Andy Hornby here, your session leader late on in this particular session. So it'll be interesting to see if Andy goes quicker than he did on that previous lap. He is on pole as it stands at the moment. So completing the top 10 at the moment is number 70, Harley Rushton, a 2:57.749. Harley Rushton's best time in this session, and then just dropping a little bit outside, just under 7 seconds further back on Rushton outside the top 10. We've got the 2 newcomers once again both together. They've just gone past the checker flag as well, so their session coming to end, and that is number 64 Kevin Lavery and number 25 Dominic Vesey, 11th and 12th quickest. Another good session for those 2 newcomers there. 13th quickest, number 75 Neil Lloyd, who came past us a few moments ago and has now seen the checkered flag, a 3:13.467, the best for Neil Lloyd. Then 14th quickest, number 66 Robert Noyle, a 3:18.064, the best time, so just over 4.5 seconds off the pace of Neil Lloyd. And then rounding up the top 16, we'll put it that way for the moment, is number 50 David Glover, 15th quickest, a 3 minutes 18.580, and then number 35 Andy Jessup, a 3:27.241. So the big headline, I suppose, right at the end of the session here is Andy Hornby, as he did yesterday. He's pushed late on and it will start on pole as it stands, ahead of Mike Hose and Alan Oversby. Hornby does cross the line. Does he go quicker? Indeed he does. He goes quicker again on that final lap as he hits the checker flag, a 2:46.441. So Andy Hornby, bit of a statement at the end of the session. To you, Chris.
Yeah, good stuff. And you were mentioning, Rob, about Dominic Vesey. His quickest lap before his last lap there was a 3:08. He's done a 3:05, so he's knocked 3 seconds off that. Stays in 12th place, just behind Kevin Lavery. So a pretty good lap there on his last lap there. Just had 64 go through as well. Kevin Lavery, who said he's just pulled into the pits because the checkered flag is out and the session to an end. So as it stands, Andy Hornby will be on pole with a 91.924. Then Mike Hose will be second alongside him at 91.259. Also in the 90s as well, 91.158 will be Alan Oversby. That will be your top 3. Obviously, these 2 times have to be collated together to get the final grid positions. We move on quickly, don't we, down here? We are now going over to the Post Classics machine. It's the Post Classics Junior Superbikes, which is race 3 in your programme. They will be the next machines out on the circuit. The Jeff Duke Junior Superbike race. And let's get down to Beth for the build-up to this one. And this was the one where Grant Thompson was quick. I beg your pardon, Paul Cassidy and Grant Thompson and Wayne Abus were all having a good battle yesterday evening.
Yeah, they certainly were, and it's all gearing up again. This is a big field out on this one, so a great spectacle. Do you know what? It was just so sad seeing Andy McAllister wheeling his machine away there. He's such a great character. But yeah, when he came in, he went into the scrutineering bay and they were looking down at the machine. There was a lot of shaking heads and yeah, just gutting for him. But you know, as he said, it is what it is. That is road racing. You know that it's not always going to go to plan, but yeah, great to see him back anyway, and I'm sure he'll be really supportive to everyone else as he always is. So gearing up for this session. This is the orange plates, black numbers. Starting to get the hang of it now, I think. And yeah, as I say, quite a big field. So Grant Thompson out in this one again. And again, you know, talking to him earlier, he's still clearly not 100%. I mean, he says he's not back to full fitness, but there is certainly something that just keeps these people coming back. That resilience and that mental resilience as well is quite a force to be reckoned with. This is the start. There are not many machines up here just yet, so some of the crowd's coming back here, just taking a wander around. Lots of videos being taken, so I'm sure we'll see lots of YouTube videos and whatever. I'm just going to see if I can quickly talk to Dennis Booth. He's a very well-known face here on the Isle of Man in all sorts of racing. Dennis, I'm just going to slip in here. How are you?
Not so bad, yeah, I'm alright, yeah.
Your mullet's a little bit short. Have you had a haircut?
Well, it did go out of control about 3 weeks ago, and I just thought, I have to do something way less, well, it's a little bit shorter, but hey, well, I was a bit away back about 2 or 3 years ago with Amy, my daughter, and needless to say, I still haven't got the money, the bet yet, so there you go. Yeah, sure, look, we're in the island, sun was shining, but hey, no, all's good.
Yeah, I was going to say, how's your weekend going so far? How's the setup and the preparation been for this?
It's real good. This is the second best track to ride. Like, obviously, the TT course is the ultimate, but no, out there this morning, mega. Last night was a wee bit, I was getting colder and that there, but no, everything's fine, everything's good. So I don't even know where I qualified, I haven't even looked yet.
That's just how much you just love being out there, Dennis.
Yeah, it's real good, yeah. No, all's good. Just, Trace, the wife couldn't come because of work commitments and that, so a big load of horn out there, but no, hey, all's good. So it is.
Oh, brilliant. Well, it's great to see you here, Dennis. Thank you for talking to us. One of the most distinctive riders here on the course. So these orange plates now just heading down through the gate. You can hear that klaxon going, so we will take a wander down and just make sure that this sets off. And again, a sort of sea of orange bibs in this one. Dan Nourish, who we were talking to a little bit earlier, one of the newcomers to this event, but also one of the Manx Grand Prix newcomers a little bit later on this year. So just great to see so many people supporting racing here on the Isle of Man. As I say, lots of video being taken, so lots of YouTube channels are going to be full of the sights and the sounds. It's a pity you can't do the smells. There's Colin Croft there. I'm not sure I'm going to talk to him again after last night. Oh, flipping heck, but he's setting off there. His wheels on that bike are absolutely magnificent. They're so bright orange. You certainly won't miss him. As some more of the newcomers go past there. That's number 59, James Tucker, who's in a couple of the classes. But that klaxon's still going there, just letting people know that it is time to get out for this session. As I find my way on this wall, I hope I don't fall off it at some point, and let's hope none of the YouTube videos are going to be capturing that moment. But all down there in the dummy grid now, pretty much, just the last few taking their place. And isn't it incredible how it runs like clockwork down here? I tell you what, the organisation is absolutely phenomenal. Everybody knows exactly what they're doing, where they're supposed to be. And the course all set for this next qualifying session, which will be getting underway very, very shortly. Still pretty good conditions here. It might be a little bit colder than it was a little bit earlier. There's a little bit more cloud cover, I'm sure, actually, for lots of the people out there. That's not too bad if you're out riding. Hopefully, wherever you are on the course, if you're watching on a hedge somewhere, it's not too chilly, or you brought a blanket with you. Okay, Chris, so we are just about to get underway.
Thank you very much to Beth. In the background, you can hear the klaxon going, which alerts the riders, that lets them know that the bikes are needed to get out and get down to the Parc Fermé, to the dummy grid and out on circuit. Paul Cassidy was quickest at 2:36.532, 97.754. Grant Thompson alongside him on his 600cc Honda, the Isle of Man Bike Storage Gorilla Racing Machine. The Port Mary rider in second with a 96.6. And it was all Manx 1-2-3 with Wayne Avis, local man as well, on the number 20 machine. Wayne from Braddon, of course. He did a 93.923. Then the first of the 250s, number 33, Chris Moore, running well last night at 92.894. Then Liam Donaghy, Damien Crook, Barry Davison, Gary Porter, Martin Clare and Nick Sweet were your top 10. It's the race number 3 in your programme, the Junior Superbikes. It's the second session, and let's go to Cross Four Ways, lap 1.
Yeah, and I think the fact as well, not just as Beth was mentioning before, the quantity of machines that are going to be out in this particular class, but the varieties as well, and the fact that you can have the 600s, of course, obviously a lot of CBR 600s in this particular class. They're going to give you all the straight line grunts that you want on something like the approach to Cross Four Ways, but those nimble 250s are a joy to watch through these tight corners here at Cross Four Ways, the likes of Ballabeg. And those 250s, although the capacity not quite the same, they're still certainly making inroads in this particular class. We've already heard the top 3. It's a Manx lockout at the moment there. But number 33, Chris Moore, of course, from the island originally as well. He's just outside the top 3, and he's one of the first on the 250s. Number 88, Leon Donaghy, went well yesterday as well on another Honda CBR 600 as well. Damien Crook, Barry Davidson, Gary Porter, Martin Clare, and Nick Sweet making up the top 10 from last night's session. So here's your first machine on the road, and it is a 250. It's the 250 of Chris Moore, cornering through Cross Four Ways on the way towards Church Bend. Next we've got is Luke Blevins, Paul Cassidy, and then the number 16 machine on the way through there as well. That's Owen Monaghan. So those are your first few machines through Cross Four Ways. Latest up here, number 37, Gary Porter. Number 96, Damien Crook, who also went well last night. Number 40, Barry Davidson. Number 97 on the way through, and number 121, that's Israel Gillette at the back of that particular duo. Number 20, Wayne Avis, third quickest last night, one to keep an eye out for. Number 14 is Daniel Nourish, one of the newcomers. And number 92, Adam Randall's on the way through, as is number 19, Aaron Hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 together there. In and amongst that is the number 1 machine of Grant Thompson, the Gorilla Racing Honda, the 600. At the back of this particular group is number 17, Nick Sweet, who, as we mentioned, completed the top 10 last night. 31, 10, 38, 88 and 8. There's Dan Sale on his 250 at the back of that particular group. There's only really time for numbers as they made their way through Cross Four Ways. Number 99, Martin Clare is through as well. To you, Chris.
TZ250 Yamaha of Chris Moore, the first bike through. Then it's number 5, the CBR 600 of Paul Cassidy. Then it's 104, Luke Blevins, and close to the wall again is Owen Monaghan. He's so tight onto the inside here on the 16 bike is Owen. Where was he in qualifying yesterday? 14th on his Kawasaki machine. 96 is next, Damien Crook. 37, Gary Porter. Number 40, Barry Davison goes through. Barry, 7th quickest yesterday. Then it's 121, Israel Gillette. He's an addition to your programme. And there's the 3rd quickest man from last night. Number 20, Wayne Avis goes through on his machine. 97 is next, Simon Lahane. 92, 14, 1 numbers only at the moment. 19, Aaron Hands. Grant Thompson in the middle of that one. Dean Ratcliffe, 49. 28, Matt Rostron. 12, Richard Ford. 67, Adrian Morris. That sounds lovely. That's sweet. And keep an eye on the number 81 machine, by the way. That is beautiful. That's Ryan Arnold. Lovely looking machine. His CBR 600 Honda. Nice to see those machines out in force. Pre-injection, steel frame, whatever you want to call them. And 99 has just gone through Martin Clare with Dan Sale just ahead of him on 8. 31, Colin Croft. 38, Oliver Wilson. 10, Barry Ferber. 88, Leon Donaghy. A reminder, the time that they have to beat to get themselves on pole for the Junior Superbikes lap record for this is 99.466 for James Cowton back to 2014. The quickest qualifying lap last night was Paul Cassidy, 236.5, 97.7 back to Cross Four Ways.
Yeah, we could just hear them in the distance. So the first flying laps of this session. Who's going to be first on the road this time? It is still the number 33 machine, the 250 of Chris Moore, but closing right up behind is number 5, Paul Cassidy on the Gorilla Racing Honda there. So Paul Cassidy moving toward the front of the order and just hunkering in right behind Chris Moore there through Cross Four Ways on the way up towards Church Bends. There, some few seconds ahead of the latest rider on the way through. That's Luke Blevins, another of the local riders from Ramsey, on the way through as well. So Luke Blevins, 3rd on the road behind both Chris Moore and Paul Cassidy as well. So we should be in the next couple of moments. They'll be weaving their way through Church Bends and onto the long run Great Meadow towards Stadium. Damien Crook arrives, as does Gary Porter and Barry Davidson on the way through as well, that particular trio. Next to interview, Wayne Avis just moves ahead on the road on number 121, Israel Gillette. Then we've got Owen Monaghan and number 1, Grant Thompson on the way through as well. So Grant Thompson with a little bit of traffic in front of him as he goes on his first flying lap. There's the number 92 machine of Adam Randalls. And number 19 as well is Aaron Hands on the way through as well. Where did Aaron slot in last night? Was 21st quickest as 4 more machines passed us on these first flying laps. This is where the traffic is really starting to pick up. So riders, if they want to make up ground, they've got to get ahead of the groups. To you, Chris.
Yeah, you did say that Paul Cassidy was catching up Chris Moore, and he's got past him there now. So Paul Cassidy quicker than what he did yesterday, a 236.5 yesterday. He's done a 232.0 now. 100.625 is number 104 goes through. Luke Blevins, Chris Moore at 96.3. Has Chris improved on his time from yesterday? Yeah, 92.8 for him yesterday, 96 and 96.3 for him. 96 goes through, but it's number 1, the bike we're waiting for, Grant Thompson. Barry Davison up to 4th, Luke Blevins through, Gary Porter goes through. Number 20, here's Thompson. Thompson goes 2nd, 97.408. He was just in behind Israel Gillette there on the 121 machine. So Paul Cassidy, quickest still at 100.625. Thompson yesterday did 96.665. He's just done a 97.408. As 49 Dean Ratcliffe goes through, 64 Kevin Lavery through as well, 28 Matthew Rostron, 17 Nick Street in there too, he drops in the top 10, and Leon Donaghy makes a move as well. Barry Davison also in there, and Barry Ferber up to 8th. 1, 2, 3, 4 abreast past us. Wow, 99 is the last one through. Just another one through there as well. I think that was Simon Lehane on 97 as Daniel Norris goes through. But back to the top. It's Paul Cassidy quickest. 2 minutes 32.050. 100.625 miles an hour. Then it's number 1 Grant Thompson at 97.4 and 33 Chris Moore on the 250, 96.367. Grant Thompson, Rob Pritchard has got to find 5 seconds to catch up on Paul Cassidy.
He has indeed, and Paul Cassidy now leads on the road ahead of number 33, Chris Moore, here at Cross Four Ways on this latest lap. He's heading up through the gears on his way towards Cross Four Ways on this latest one. I'm telling you, you could hear it as well. And Chris Moore just dropping back a little bit. Of course, he just isn't going to have the straight line speed that the likes of Paul Cassidy's going to have on that 600 compared to his Yamaha 250 in there. But Chris Moore looking smooth and agile through Cross Four Ways on that little 250 as well. One thing, just looking at some of those times that have been in there, we mentioned Grant Thompson slotting into second on these first flying laps. But the likes of Wayne Avis, Damien Crook, who's 5th quickest, and number 88 Leon Donaghy, they're all getting caught in traffic. Here is Damien Crook. And then we've got numbers 85, 104 Luke Blevins. There is Grant Thompson moving past 2 machines there on the way through Cross Four Ways. Gary Porter was the latest to us. There's number 20 Wayne Avis, who's now catching up to traffic. Owen Monaghan here just moves ahead at Cross Four Ways of number 121 Israel Gillette here at Cross Four Ways. So Wayne Avis and Grant Thompson in particular are still having to navigate a fair bit of traffic at the moment as number 19 Aaron Hands passed us once more, as is number 92 Adam Randalls as well. So still, as I mentioned, traffic to deal with. Paul Cassidy is way out front of the order. To you, Chris.
He is just dropped the pace a little bit that time though. Rob, a 2:33.8 compared to a 2:32.0. Chris Moore has just gone through. He has improved with the 2:37.9, 96.843. We've just seen 87 Lawrence Cummins go through. Local man, of course, from Ramsey. He's in 27th at the moment on his 87 bike at 85.681. As we look up the road once more, and we just look to see how long left in the session. Can't be long left in this one. Coming up next, we have got the 500cc Classics going out for their session. More machines into our view. And Thompson's one of them. Let's see if he improves that time. 2:36, he does improve. 2:36.986, 97.461. It's only just under 5 seconds a gap between Cassidy and Thompson. So it's Cassidy, Thompson and Moore, your top 3. Then there's 20 Avis at 93.5. 16 Owen Monaghan, he slots into 5th place. 92 goes through Adam Randall, slots into 14th place. 49 Dean Ratcliffe, he makes a jump. Matthew Rock, I'm just going to leave this for a minute. Hang on a second. There we go, Leon Donaghy, he's the one I was looking for. He slots up into 4th place on the 88 bike, 93.867. It's all changed, isn't it? 14 goes through there as well. 14 Daniel Nourish, more machines go through. 8 Dan Sale was one of those. But Cassidy, Thompson, Moore, Donaghy, Avis, Rostron, Ferber, Ratcliffe, Monaghan, Hands are your top 10. Well, and then we've got 96 Crook, 64 Lavery, 40 Davison, 8 Sale, 17 Sweet, 104 Blevins, 37 Porter, 99 Clare, 92 Randalls, your top 19. And rounding out the top 20 is number 39. Billy Cummins is number 62. Edward Hosker goes through. We go back to Cross Four Ways.
Yeah, and the leaders on the road, Paul Cassidy and Chris Moore, have just gone past us in the last couple of seconds, such as the pace of both of them, really. They're starting to catch riders toward the back of the order there. Saw Paul Cassidy just do a little overtake on one of the newcomers, Adrian Morris, here through Cross Four Ways as well. So Cass certainly isn't slowing up at the moment. He's just under 4.5 seconds quicker, that quickest lap that he's done so far, than his quickest lap last night. A few seconds back off those leading duo. Here's number 1, Grant Thompson, who has freed himself of the traffic of previous laps and has got a bit of tarmac to move into, as has number 96, Damien Crook, a couple of seconds back in the order as well. 4 more machines into view. It's Wayne Avis, Gary Porter, Barry Davidson and Luke Blevins. So a little bit of switching in that group. Blevins was ahead of that group, now he's at the back of it. Owen Monaghan. And then we've got 85, that's one of the newcomers, Alexander Pearson, and number 121, Israel Gillette, on the way through as well. As this session started to come towards more of a close, if you like, field just getting a little bit more spread out. So what's Paul Cassidy done? He's gone slower on that lap as 3 more machines into view here. So Paul Cassidy went slower on that 4th lap there, 2:36.020, so maybe slowing to come into the pits then, coming up towards the end of the session, very possibly. 2:32.050 is, of course, his benchmark from today. Chris Moore, has he improved? Yes, he has. He's done a 2:37.874 on that previous lap as well. So Chris Moore has improved. There's 2 minutes left in this session, we understand, as well as number 99, Martin Clare, arrives at Cross Four Ways as number 59, James Tucker. and number 14, Daniel Norris, the two of the newcomers close together there. So Cassidy doesn't go quicker on that previous lap. Chris Moore does, and he moves in 2.7 seconds behind Grant Thompson's second quickest at the moment. Thompson's also gone quicker again. He's now done a 2:35.099. To you, Chris.
Yeah, the gap is only 3 seconds now there, Rob. Damien Crook's done a jump as well on the 96, the local man there. He's up to 4th place with 94.136. Not got Leon Donaghy through yet. Got to keep an eye on him as 19 goes through Aaron Hands. He stays 11th. That's his 4th lap completed. There's 88. That's the one. Yeah, there we go. Leon Donaghy, he moves up to 4th place again, gets ahead of Damien Crook. And there's only hundredths of seconds between these guys. So the top 3, there's only 5 seconds between them, 5.824. And then from 4th, Donaghy, down to about 22nd Richard Ford, there's only about 10 seconds, so not much at all as more riders go through to complete the laps. Dan Sale just goes through at 92.039. More riders is 99 is the next man through, that's Martin Clare, and then there's 59 on the 250 just gone through. James Tucker, he's safely through, and that is, I think, just the checkered flag out now, and it's number 81 Ryan Arnold, who has taken that checkered flag. 39 also through as well. Billy Cummins takes the checkered flag. 67 goes through. 31 Colin Croft. 67 just ahead of him there, Colin Crofty. And number 67 Aidan Norris on his TZ Yamaha. But Paul Cassidy quickest. It did look like Cass was there backing off the pace. I'm not sure if he's going to make it round to you. Oh, Chris Moore has got another lap in as well. So Chris Moore will be making another lap through. So that is good news. Chris has got to find 2.8 seconds. But again, like quite rightly said, and Grant Thompson got another lap there too, as 97 has just gone through to finish off as well. So Grant Thompson and Chris Moore, will keep a little eye out of them as we look up the road there now. It looks like Cass coming in. It is Paul Cassidy coming in. He's done his lap there now, just tours across the line with a 2:39.253. His work is done. Listen to this. This is Chris Moore. Oh, Chris Moore got his hands in the air for some reason. I don't know what he was doing. But anyway, he's in 3rd place. First 250 home at the moment. So we'll look up the road. We've got to keep an eye out for the young Manxman, the Portsamary rider, Grant Thompson, on the number 1 bike. He'll be the one we want to keep an eye on. Next one through is 87. That goes through. That, of course, is Lawrence Cummins. So Lawrence, the local rider, competes up at Derby. He's completed his lap. As we look at one more, and here comes Thompson. Let's have a listen to this. Is he keeping it pinned all the way? He is, and he improves slightly with a 2:35.013, 2.963 seconds back off Paul Cassidy. But there will be others who'll probably slot in as well. We've got Leon Donaghy to come through, maybe Damien Crook, Wayne Avis. As we look again, and the road bursts into life with more machines coming through. He's 96, that's Crookie. Does Crookie improve that time? Crookie doesn't improve that time. As Gary Porter goes through. We've got Wayne Avis through as well. They all don't improve. Gary Porter did on the last lap. He stays in 7th place for the number 37 bikers. Owen Monaghan goes through. Next rider, it sounds like the Ducati of Gillette it is. Israel Gillette, and he slots into 20th place provisionally there with a lap speed of 90.922. And it's 88, that's the one we're waiting for. Does he improve that time? No, he doesn't. But what a performance from Kevin Lavery on the 64 bike. He slots into 7th place. Brilliant performance by the newcomer there. 93.230. Coming to the end of the session now there. We'll quickly go to Rob as number 17 goes across the line. Nick Sweet finishes his lap, as did Dan Saylor. Rob, your thoughts on that? Grant Thompson, he's eking away at Paul Cassidy, isn't he?
He is indeed, and I think all of them were dealing with quite a bit of traffic at the start of that session, as Beth quite rightly pointed out. This is a busy class as well to get things underway in a qualifying session, so I think a few of them had to free themselves of traffic. I mean, Paul Cassidy and Chris Moore were away pretty quickly towards the front of the order on those first 2 laps, particularly that first flying lap as well. Grant Thompson had to free himself just a little bit and getting himself into provisional 2nd at the moment. You've already mentioned the newcomer, Kevin Lavery, going well inside the top 10, and you've also mentioned Nick Sweet as well, and currently making up the top 10 at the moment is number 28, Matthew Rostron as well. We are waiting to see, we'll wait for everything to be finalised, but currently Matthew Rostron completing the top 10 with a 2 minutes 45.350. Just outside of that, Owen Monaghan, as one of the course inspection cars, makes its way towards us across 4 ways, signalling right toward the end of this later session. Heading over to Beth, who we understand has Chris Moore.
Yeah, just standing here with Chris now. You had your hands up when you came over the line. What was going on there?
What's that?
Did you have your hands up when you came up over the line?
Oh, that was only a little message to Dale, that's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's all right.
So long as I'm clear, no other officials were harmed, I hope. Yeah.
How was that out there then?
Really good conditions, and obviously I got out first, so yeah, had a nice easy run. I could just set my own pace, which was good. I wasn't getting held up by anyone. And I think it was Paul Cassidy came past me. Just the extra pull out of the corners on the 600s. I just can't live with them on the 250. But like the end of the straight, I don't think there's any difference in top speed. It's just that drive out of the corners. So yeah, we'll see what the race brings, I suppose.
Still got a smile on your face though.
Yeah, have I shown you my wristband?
I think I've seen it, yeah. Number 1.
Number 1 TT wristband. That'll do me.
That was certainly well. Chris, thanks for talking to us. Back to you, Rob.
Yeah, thanks very much, Beth. And yeah, Chris, as he was saying there, if he can maybe just get a little bit more pull out of those corners, he might be able to offer Paul Cassidy a little bit more for his money there in the upcoming race in this particular class. So we've already mentioned the top 10. Just a quick reminder of the times outside the top 10 that we've had in this particular session. 11th quickest was number 16, Owen Monaghan, at 2 minutes 45.512. So just under 0.2 of a second off the pace of Matthew Rostron, who completes the top 10 at the moment. Then 12th quickest is number 10, Barry Ferber, at 2 minutes 45.551. So he's only around 0.04 of a second off Monaghan, just above. 13th quickest in that session, number 49, Dean Ratcliffe, with a 2:45.655. Quite a few of these close together at the moment. Little more than 1 or 2 of a second between a couple of these just outside the top 10. Then number 19, Aaron Hands, was 14th quickest at 2:45.824. Then just into the 2:46 bracket at a 2:46.234 was another of the 250s, another of the local riders. Number 8, Dan Sale, 15th quickest. Then number 40, Barry Davidson, at 2:46.536, the best for Barry in that particular session. 17th quickest, number 99, Martin Clare, at 2:47.281. And then just around 0.2 of a second, just over 0.2 of a second back off Martin Clare in that session was number 104, Luke Blevins, another one of the local riders. That was a 2:47.540. We understand the klaxon's going over in the paddock, Beth.
Yeah, you can hear the klaxon in the background, these 500cc machines. These are the yellow plates with the black numbers, just heading out for their session. I'm learning an awful lot about rider nutrition this afternoon, because obviously it's difficult, isn't it, trying to get your lunch in. It must be just slightly past lunchtime now, lots of crisps and bananas being eaten. But these machines just heading their way down to the dummy grid. Flipping heck, they're loud. Can't actually hear myself think as number 84 just goes past us there. That is Nigel Moore on a fantastic sealing machine. It's absolutely glorious. But again, a lot of people in this qualifying session, so a lot to see out there. As Andrew Jessup was just walking on the other side of the road. He was out in one of the earlier sessions. As you can hear this machine, which is this number 45. That's Andy Lovett, who's just looking down to the side there. There's not a lot of smoke coming out the back of it, but he's heading off down the road now, so all looks like it's going to be okay, all being well. He's sporting his orange newcomer's bib. As number 42 goes past, that's Andy Hornby. Obviously had a great session a little bit earlier on. It's a quick turnaround, isn't it? You know, lots of people doing a couple of these classes, so it's literally get back in, give all the information to the teams, and then head off back out again. Ooh, that klaxon stopping is quite nice, isn't it? So lots of people again just heading down just to watch the start of this session, Chris, which I think is going to be underway in just a few moments.
Thank you very much to Beth down there. Nice to hear the thoughts of Chris Moore. At least it wasn't me he was giving abuse to anyway. Yeah, the reason why the riders were slowing down a little bit on that last session, there was a broken down machine through Stadium. Okay, there was yellow flags through there as well, so that's why they were slowing down. Thanks to the team for giving us that. Alan Oversby was quickest in the first run of this on his 500cb Honda with a 2:48.635. This was yesterday evening. 90.728. The machines are now out on the 4.25 mile Motor Isle Billown circuit. Number 70, Harley Rushton. He did a 90.360. And number 21, Will Loader, an 89.527. And Andy Hornby on 88.73. 10, Barry Ferber, 88.69. Then we had number 100, Heffen Owen at 88.66. 7th, number 34, Scott Wilson on the Norton at 88.569. 8th, number 84, Nigel Moore on the Sealy, the G50 there at 85.5. 9th for 53, Russ Rowbury on his Manx Norton at 83.769. And then the first of the two strokes, Kevin Lavery on the 64 bike on the 500cc Suzuki. Kevin is from... I'm just trying to remember where Kevin's from, actually. Come on, Chris, look at the programme. There we are. if I was on the right page, it kind of would be handy, wouldn't it? But I was on completely the wrong page of the programme, so that's probably why I can't find the information. There are that much bits of paper in the studio here. It's not. Yeah, Cavan is from Dungannon. Yeah, I thought he was Cookstown sort of way, but he's from the Dungannon area of County Tyrone in Northern Ireland. Let's get out to Cross Four Ways, and the 500cc senior bikes are on the way round to Rob.
Yeah, I think if from a personal perspective at least anyway, I think this is probably the pick of the bunch in qualifying last night in terms of just how competitive it was out toward the front. There was only just over 4 seconds separating Alan Oversby at the quickest time all the way down to number 34, Scott Wilson in 7th. Gives you an idea of just how competitive that field is. One thing I will say out here at Cross Four Ways, the sun is still glistening through the clouds here. We've still got patches of blue sky around us, but the breeze has just picked up a little bit here, so that's making things just a little bit cooler. Here's your first machine out on the road in this session. That's number 100, Evan Owen. Been out there first and foremost in a few of the sessions already as number 21, Will Loader arrives. Then number 47, Daniel Pritchard. On the newcomers, number 2, Alan Oversby. Number 70, Harley Rushton. So those were your 1 and 2, first and second quickest in last night's session in this class. They're close together on the road. And looking into the distance as well, South Brewell's just been covered by a little low cloud. As number 84, Nigel Moore on the way past here, 8th quickest last night. 53 and 63, Russell Robury and Gary Abbott, and then number 51, machine of Andy Kildee, CB500 Honda. 75, Neil Lloyd out on this latest side for that, and there's number 34, Scott Wilson, making up the top 7 he was during last night's session as well. 3-4 more machines into view. We've got the 61 of Ian Thompson, the 11 of Andrew Guy, 60 Gary Hutton, and number 108 Justin Robury, one of the newcomers. Number 10 is Barry Ferber, and number 79 as well as Keith Clark. 2 more, 42 and 66, so Robert Noyle at the back of that particular group there. So this will be interesting to see. Will we have just as close a session as we did last night? It was another one where the timings went haywire. To you, Chris.
I think it is going to go haywire, Rob. We've got 100 Hefferno, and he likes getting out first. 21, Will Loader. 2, Alan Oversby. 70, Harlan Rushton goes through. Number 47 goes through. The newcomer, Daniel Pritchard. He's the first of 5 bikes that have gone through us all. We should look up the road once more. There'll be more just crossing over the Isle of Man Railway Bridge there now. Next machine, interview. In fact, 2 interview. 84 goes past. That's Nigel Moore. 53 is next on the list. That's Russ Robury. We've got 1 more, we got 2 more. 63, that's Gary Abbott, he goes through. 51, that's Andy Kildare. Listen to this. Scott Wilson and Neil Lloyd. Scott on the Norton, Neil Lloyd, of course, on the 75 bike on the Honda CB500 4. As we look up, 2 more machines coming to view. 3, 4 machines, 5 machines, 11, 10, 11 Andy Guy, 10 Barry Ferber, 108 Justin Roby, 61 Ian Thompson, 60 Gary Hutton, 42 Andy Hornby, and 79 Keith Clark, all safely through. 18 machines so far. 66 Robert Noyle. That's the 19th machine through. And here's 1 more interview. This will make it 20, a round number. And it's that lovely little 2-stroke of Andy Lovett on the 45 bike. That's 21st machine through. 69. That's Jeff Smith. That machine of Andy Lovett. Really, really smart turned out machine. The Chris Wilkinson engineering machine. The rider from Chorley on his T5 Honda Suzuki 2. Heffernan Owen and Will Loader and Alan Oversby. The first 3 on the road. Back to Cross Four Ways.
In the time since you last came and joined me, I've been slightly hypnotised by the crops in the field across here because of the breeze that's been picking up around here. So the sun, still out at the moment, and that cloud in the distance I mentioned at South Brule is starting to move away from the course, which is good to see. So here we are, first flying laps, number 100, Evan Owen. And number 21, Will Loader, and number 2, Alan Oversby on the way through. So your first trio in terms of the running order. They've just both started to catch Evan Owen out front, dropping just a couple of seconds back. In the order on the road is number 70, Harley Rushton there. So it looks like Loader and Oversby might have just picked up the pace on this latest flying lap. So they could be right up and in behind Evan Owen at the front of the order at the moment as number 47, Daniel Pritchard, out bright and early in this particular session. The newcomer, number 84, Nigel Moore. Where did Nigel Moore slot in? 8th quickest last night was Nigel Moore. Number 53, Russell Robury. Where did Russell slot in yesterday? Just having a quick look around. So Russell Robury was 9th quickest, so inside the top 10. Number 34, Scott Wilson back through on the Craven Classic machine. And coming towards us now, there's 63 and 51, Gary Abbott and Andy Kildee. Where did they slot in yesterday? Just for a bit of comparison here. So Andy Kildee was 13th quickest last night. Barry Ferber and Neil Lloyd on the way through as well. Barry Ferber was inside the top 5 last night. So the first flying laps of this session to you, Chris.
Let's have a little listen. 1, 2, 3 machines are going to come past us any moment now. Heffernan and Alan Oversby. and Will Loader, and it's Overspeed that's quickest at 91.468, 2 minutes 47.2. One more machine interview. 70 Harley Rushton, he jumps ahead of Heffin-Owen in the timing. Now what we'll do is in a moment or two when it all settles down, we'll collate it into the times we had yesterday. But Overspeed's lap time 2 minutes 47.2, 91.468. Loader 90.133. Rushton as 47 goes through Daniel Pritchard, and there's another machine 84 Nigel Moore. Two more interview. We'll get back to the times in a second. Gonna give these guys a mention. Russ Robury on 53. 34 Scott Wilson. He jumps up the 4th place. So Overspeed at 91.4 quickest on the 2 bike. Then it's 21 Loader at 90.13. 70 Rushton at 88.7, and it's 34 Scott Wilson. He slots into 4th place, but there you go. It's Barry Ferber, the one on the move, on the 10 bike. He jumps up the 3rd at 89.1. 2 more machines went through there. 42 Andy Hornby was one of them. 11, it looks like a retirement, unfortunately, for 63. So 63 is going to be a retirement. Gary Abbott, 108 goes through. Justin Robury, 79 Keith Clark, Andy Guy have all gone safely through. Numbers only at the moment. A 60 Gary Hutton, yeah, he goes through. So maybe a bit of time. No, we haven't. A rider goes to the left-hand side of the road, cuts across to the middle of the bypass, and it's 66 going through there. Robert Noyle. We'll get back to the screen in a second, but first of all, we'll take this next rider through. It's 45 it is. That's Andy Lovett slotting into 17. So Overspeed 2 leads Loader from Ferber and Rushton. 5 seconds separate them. 69 is next to. That's Jeff Smith. Jumping in there as well. 42 Andy Hornby in the 7th, and Nigel Moore, Russell Robury and Keith Clark separate the top 10. But it's Overspeed that leads at the moment. Back to Cross Four Ways.
It's Will Loader that now leads on the road at Cross Four Ways ahead of Heffin-Owen as Harley Rushton goes past as well. So just while they've got quite a big gap to the rest of the field at the moment. So just to give some very quick comparisons to last night there, Chris. So Alan Overspeed, his quickest time in this session, his first flying lap, is actually just under 1.5 seconds quicker than his quickest lap from last night. As number 84 Nigel Moore coming into Cross Four Ways here, and Will Loader running just over a second quicker than he did in last night's session as well. As number 47 there's Pritchard, and then it's number 53 and 34, so Scott Wilson closing up in behind Russell Robury on the main start, and there is Russell Robury. And then number 10, Barry Ferber, who went well, so he was just under 2 seconds off the pace of Will Loader on those first flying laps. Barry Ferber 3rd quickest. So yeah, Overspeed and Loader both going quicker with their quickest laps in this session so far. Not seen Overspeed on this latest lap. Number 42 on the way through is Andy Hornby, and also number 51 Andy Kildee through Cross Four Ways. To you, Chris.
Well, Will Loader's just gone through. He has improved on his time at 2:49.532. Also gone through as well was Heffin-Owen with the 2:55.8. Harley Rushton, has he improved this time? Yeah, he doesn't actually. 2:52.549 compared to 2:52.409. So not much between his laps there. But Overspeed still on the top of the pile at 2:47.271. With Loader improving ever so slightly at 2:49.532, 2.2 back, 90.248. Another rider interview. Goes across the line safely. Right, look at the row. 1, 2, 3 machines together. 34, Scott Wilson in there. Scott Wilson. Andrew Guy also in there completing his laps. Keith, who else has gone through? Russ Robury. Nigel Moore also through. But there is Barry Ferber. That's the one I waited for. 2:49.447 for Barry. 90.294, and slots him into 2nd position. There's Andy Hornby. Does Andy improve that time? He does time-wise, but stays in 7th. 51 is next, Andy Kildare. He stays in about 13th place. That time back for Andy Hornby on the 42 bike. 2:53.498, 88.185. Next machine through. 75, Neil Lloyd. Sounds like Neil's pulling into the pits, and I think 11 also pulling into the pits there. That's Andrew Guy. He's currently holding on to 12th place. 79 is next through. 79, Keith Clark slots into the top 10. 108, Justin Robury, he stays 14th. He goes through. 61, Ian Thompson through in about 16th place. We'll take one more through, then we'll hand back to Rob. It's number 60 again. That's Gary Hutton. He moves up to 17th place. Back to Rob.
Yeah, possibly as expected. We're seeing a lot of the field starting to improve on those times that we saw last night. In fact, just quickly looking at the top 8 there as we await the next machines to make their way towards us at Cross Four Ways. 6 of the top 8 have gone quicker in this session. The only exceptions to that are number 70, Harley Rushton, who's not quite as quick as he was last night, and also as well is number 84, number 42, Andy Hornby, who's 7th quickest in this particular session as well. So, as we've heard from Chris already, Barry Ferber moving up into 2nd in the last couple of moments. It's Will Loader completing the top 3 with Alan Oversby still leading the way on the timings. First on the road on this lap is number 84, Nigel Moore. We've already heard about a few machines pulling in as this session comes to a close, probably in the next few minutes. We'll bring you the rest of the top 10. So we've mentioned Scott Wilson 6th, Andy Hornby 7th, Nigel Moore 8th, Russell Robury 9th quickest. Then is number 79, Keith Clark. 2 minutes left in this session. There's 2 minutes left of this particular session. Russell Robury on the way past. And number 47, Daniel Pritchard. Daniel Pritchard, the newcomer, he's almost knocking on the door, maybe tapping politely at the moment at the top 10 at the moment. He's 11th quickest. He's just a smidge over 2 seconds off the pace of number 79, Keith Clark at the moment. So Daniel Pritchard, maybe on this lap, if he can pick up the pace just that little bit, could be moving into contention for the top 10. We'll have to wait and see. 12th quickest at the moment in this session. Just 1/10 of a second off the pace of Pritchard is number 11, Andrew Guy, coming past us on another lap is number 51, Andy Kildee, who I was just about to mention is running just behind Andrew Guy in the current timings. A best of 3 minutes 7.403 at the moment, 13th quickest. Looking a little bit further back, other newcomer inside the top 15 at the moment is number 108, Justin Robury, with a best pace of 3 minutes 9.984. Arriving at Cross Four Ways is Keith Clark, as I mentioned, currently completes the top 10 at the moment. Running well is Keith Clark on the way through Cross Four Ways and up toward Church Bends. 2 more machines on their way towards us. We'll take these through. The aforementioned Justin Robury, the 108 machine, and number 61 as well is Ian Thompson. Where does Ian Thompson slot in at the moment? 16th quickest Ian Thompson, a 3 minutes 12.169, the best so far, as number 60 Gary Hutton on the way past, slotting into 18th quickest at the moment. The checkered flag is now coming out over on the bypass as well, so this session is coming to an end. We'll take a couple of more of these machines through on what is their final lap. 66 Robert Noyle, and also number 45 Andy Lovett, another newcomer in this class in particular. Lovett running at 17th quickest at 3 minutes 14.011. Will quickly complete the top 20 here. We mentioned number 60 Gary Hutton, 18th quickest. 66 Robert Noyle at a 3:16.4 is 19th at the moment, and completing the top 20 at the moment is number 69 Jeff Smith. He's got a best pace in this session of 3 minutes 18.653. So as we mentioned just in the last couple of moments, the checkered flag is out. The field has already been getting a little more spread out as certain machines retire into the paddock at the end of this session. But as it stands at the moment, Alan Oversby on provisional pole, 2.1 seconds ahead of number 10 Barry Ferber, who moved up to 2nd in these last few flying laps, and currently Will Loader rounds out your top 3. To you, Chris.
Thank you very much, Rob. So we've had Nigel Moore on 84, 53 Russell Robury, 79 Keith Clark, 108 just coming across the line, Justin Robury in 61 to complete their sessions. That's Ian Thompson on 61. So we got Nigel Moore, Russ Robury, Keith Clark, Dan Pritchard, Andy Kildare, Justin Robury, Ian Thompson, and number 60 Gary Hutton in 18th place, just coming through there now. So we believe that the session will be starting to get moving on, because the next session will be for the 125s and the 250s, and I think they're probably going to mix in the 400s with those as well. Yeah, the 400s will be in there also. A couple more riders just across the line, but Alan Oversby on pole again. He did a 2:48 last night, 2:48.6. He's just on a 2:47.271, but alongside him on the front row will be, from last night's time, just doing the maths here, 2:49.32 will be Harley Rushton, and then alongside him on the next row will be a 2:49.447 for Barry Ferber. That should be your top 3. Beth, you got 250s and 125s and 400s. There's a good scutch of these about to go out.
There certainly are, yeah. As Rob was just mentioning, that breeze picked up a little bit down here, so it's definitely getting a little bit colder. You can see the flags moving a little bit more. You mentioned Andrew Guy just coming over the line, just wondering if there was an issue there. He pushed the bike up the return road, so clearly some sort of mechanical issues that hopefully will get sorted as soon as possible. But yeah, there's going to be a lot to see in this session, because we've got the green plates with white numbers, the black plates with white numbers, so the 250s and 125s, and also the 400s as well. So they are on the orange plates. One to look out for, I think, we spoke to him yesterday, is one of the newcomers here, Lee Stanaway, also known as the tea addict of the paddock. He'd had 14 cups of tea by the time we spoke to him yesterday, and he wasn't feeling brilliant. He is feeling much better today, but I haven't had a tea count yet. But he is 6'3", and you see him tucked in into this machine. He said it himself, it's not particularly well suited to somebody of his size, probably more your size, Kinners. But it's quite something to see him sort of tucked in there. So do look out for Lee Stanaway. He is on the number 52 machine. So the first of the bikes have just made their way down to the dummy grid, but the others are not quite there yet. So just a couple of minutes, I think, Chris, before this gets going.
Yeah, this will be for the Words and Spaces printers, 250 and 125s, and the Fred Peck 400cc's. They all went out in there yesterday. Now, Alan Oversby again, he was the quickest man. Now, bear in mind, the lap record he holds at a 241.5. He did a 243.8 in not great conditions. It wasn't wet or anything like that, but it wasn't perfect seeing conditions at 93.354. Rad Hughes was second quickest on the 112 bike, and his Kawasaki seems to be the machine of choice. In fact, the top 9... Yeah, the 9 out of the top 10 were all 400 Kawasaki's. The only Yamaha in there was James Dutton on the 95 bike on his FZR 400, the newcomer there. So Rad Hughes was second quickest at 90.888. Then we got 20 Wayne Avis at 89.429. 93 newcomer Stephen Gorton at 89.0. Fifth for number 77 Dan Pearson on the 400 Kawasaki 88.1. Then 12 Richard Ford on the Bob Jackson Kawasaki at 87.3. Newcomer 111 Liam Wood, a local man of course, on the 111 machine, the rider from Sulby, at an 86.23. And 8th for 11680 Cleary with 86.04. 9th at 95 James Dutton, newcomer at 84.0. And the top 10 rounded out by Liam Taylor, the newcomer on the 32 Kawasaki at 84.01. Now, the first of the 125s was Mike Hose in 12th overall. The second of the 125s was 59 James Tucker. He's a newcomer on 17th position. And the third of the 125s was number 97 Simon Lehane in 26th place. The first of the 250s was Barry Davison on the 15 bike. In 15th position on the 40 bike, should I say, on his machine. Excuse me. The second of the 250s was Ewan Hamilton on the 7 machine. He was in 22nd place. And the third of the 250s was number 73, Joris Vasteneckels, in 28th place. Back down to Beth.
Yeah, so we're still waiting for the bikes to get underway here. Some more just coming up the return lane. But yeah, a lot of facts and figures to take in, isn't there? And I think it was just really interesting. We were talking to Dennis Booth a little bit earlier. He's not even really been looking at the times. And I think sometimes it gets to that point, doesn't it, where it's just about being out there and hopefully getting round and no mechanical issues and worry about the times a little bit later. So just still waiting for the start of this session. The 400s haven't come through the gate yet. They're just being held in the paddock. It's a lot quieter now, actually. I think a lot of the machines are just getting ready to go. You can't hear that many of the generators, tyre warmers have come off, a lot of them. Just a couple of people running through the paddock trying to get onto their machines as well. We were talking to Mikhail Indy de Koppel yesterday, who was wearing underwear around his neck. I think he sorted that out today. He's got the proper wear on today as one of the course cars just comes into the field here. So yeah, still just waiting for the start of this session, Chris. We'll let you know when the bikes are on the road.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Beth. Just to point you towards the Southern 100 website, by the way, southern100.com. All the details on there. And don't forget the Manx Radio Motorsport Facebook page. That's been populated with pictures from a sunny-ish sort of start and finish line here on the bypass. You are listening to us on AM 1368, of course, around the world at manxradio.com. You can listen via the app too. And don't forget, around the circuit on the little FM transmitter we have here, 87.9. And of course, it's the Phil Tubman sound system alongside the start and finish line here that Phil has been putting in for, seems absolute centuries, to be fair. I remember Phil Tubman doing that when I was a kid, when I was growing up, and he still does it every year, and well done to all the guys. So if you have a little look at southern100.com, you find the Pre-TT Classic, all the details, all the times and everything. You can find all the information on there. We mentioned about the 125s. Mike Hose's lap was 83.123 for Mike. The second 125, as we mentioned, was James Tucker on the 59, the newcomer on his Honda RS125, 80.610 for him. And the third of the 125s we mentioned, Simon Lehane on 97 and his Honda 125 little RS machine, 74.230. And the first of the 250s was Barry Davison and his Suzuki with an 81.26 15th, as we said. And the second of the 250s, Ewan Hamilton on his T20 Suzuki 250 or 242 actually, you want to be correct. 22nd place for him at 79.073 as the second car goes past us. And we mentioned about the third of the 250s, Joris Vastenakel. So he's on a different machine, the 4-stroke Ducati, the 250 there. He's a speed of 73.942. So in your programme, we are at page number 50 for this one. And of course, you want to go over the page, a couple of pages on, you'll get to page 54 for the 400. So a mixture of machines in here. The 250s have got green plates and the white numbers. And the 125s have got black plates and the white numbers. When we move to the 400s, the Fred Peck 400s, that's race 8. That is orange plates and white numbers. So orange plates and white numbers. And conditions pretty good. We still have a good scotch of stuff to go. We've got the 350 Classics after this. The senior superbikes will be heading back out again. And then we'll have the sidecars heading out for their session. And if you weren't here last night, the sidecars, unfortunately, they missed their practice last night because we had an incident at Church Ben's with a rider who was okay. He got up and walked to the ambulance. And then necessitated a red flag. Unfortunately, we had to stop the session. And the light just faded so fast. There was a lot of mist and a lot of murk. And then about, 10 minutes, I think, after the roads opened, we had a little bit of wet stuff came down as well. Not too much, just a little bit came down, and we were keeping a little eye on the shower. I've just gone to the southern100.com website myself, and all the details for the senior superbike session, the singles second session, the 1100cc second session, and the junior superbikes, their times are all now put on there. If you go to the meetings tab, click down to it says pre-TT, and if you want to look back at all the results, all the information is there for you. There's a lovely gallery in there too, and all the times have all been put on. And the machines, I think, are apt to go out on the 4.25 mile Motor Isle circuit. Here's Beth.
Yeah, there's that klaxon going there. I was just going to have a quick chat with Ben Rainbow, but he's out in this session, so he's just going to get his kit on. But every time I've seen him, he's been eating something different. I'm just going to very, very quickly speak to Barry Ferber. Good session out there, Barry.
Sorry?
Do you have a good session out there?
Well, it was going really well, actually, yeah, but the bike started making a funny noise, so I clutched it and left it at Ballabeg.
Oh, no. How did you get back?
In a very fast course car, yeah, about 100 mile an hour, faster than I've been all weekend.
Good to see you, Barry. We'll let you go. So, yeah, such a shame because it was obviously going pretty well for Barry a little bit earlier. But whatever that issue is, hopefully that'll get sorted out quickly as I try and avoid the bikes. They're just going through the gates here, and this session getting underway now. So they all make their way down to the dummy grid. Going to be a lot to see in this session. I'll very, very quickly say hello to Andy Hornby. How was that out there?
Well, it's beautiful out there. It's absolutely perfect conditions today. Temperature's nice, big improvement over yesterday, but we had a little mechanical, so not the best day. But
oh no, so you were going so well as well. It's so frustrating.
Were you really watching? Or you just?
Well, somebody said you were.
That's right. Yeah, I was going amazing. I won practice. I think I would have won practice. But we've got another bike. We were on pole on that, so we'll have a good run tonight anyway.
All right, we'll speak to you later, Andy. Thank you.
Thanks, Beth.
That's Andy Hornby there. So that's the thing with these machines, isn't it? So many of those mechanical issues, and all these bikes just make their way down. Number 65 there, just getting a little bit of a push to get it started. I need to find my spot on the wall because I can't actually see over all these normal sized people. But not quite underway yet, Chris, but I don't think it's going to be too long before the bikes are out on circuit for this qualifying session, which is certainly going to be a busy one. So lots to keep our eyes on, lots of newcomers in this one as well. There's number 52, that is Lee Stanaway, goes past. Honestly, him tucked in on that bike. I don't know how he's going to fit on it. I'm sure he'll have a crick in his neck by the time he's finished. His number 39 goes past there. That's Billy Cummins. You won't miss that machine, but they are now just about setting off, I think, Chris. So they will be heading their way down the road, and not too long until they're round to you again, I guess.
You just mentioned about Billy Cummins. Billy didn't get a lap in on that machine last night. I've just spotted a spectator walking along the railway lines as well. And if I know I think he's got a set of headphones on. Just a reminder to anybody that's here, it is an offence, like it probably is in any countries that you've come from, to walk on the railway lines. I know it's a steam railway. It's not doing the speeds of the whatever it's called, the trains over there in the UK, but it is an offence to walk on the railway lines here on the Isle of Man. And if you do get spotted, well, there you go. There's the train. As we say in So that chap will have had to move out the way, and hopefully the guys driving that train will have made that point to the guards, and they'll be able to have a little chase back on that. So again, guys, girls, just have a little think about it as well. And the same when you're around the 4.25 mile Motor Isle Billown circuit, just think about where you are going to go. And of course, please respect the farmers and their fields. They've obviously had a really tough winter here on our island with the weather that we've had, and they're all working hard, well, to feed us, to be fair. So please do not walk over any crops. If it's fenced off, it is fenced off for a reason. The club would appreciate your support on that. So Rob Pritchard out at Cross Four Ways. This could be a very busy session. We had 34 runners out in yesterday's. Probably going to be more today. Over to you.
You can imagine, yeah, and just a reminder for those who've been watching around the course as well, you may have noticed some of those machines with the orange plates and white numbers out before. Those are some of the 400s. They were given special dispensation, I think, of some sort to go out in an earlier session as well. So for some of those riders, they'll have got a little bit more, but it's a dedicated one for them this time around. And, well, particularly in the 125s, Owen Monaghan has been the man to beat over the last year or so. He's the winner from last year. He's also the 125 lap record holder at 86.624 miles an hour. First machine out is number 93. That's a 400 of Stephen Gorton. Two more, that's number 72, Shelley Pike. And number 105 in the 400s is... I haven't got that down in my programme at the moment, so I'll have to just double check that. But it's all 400s at the moment. Another one of those is the 102 machine. There's the first of your 125s, the number 29 machine of Martin Tranter. Number 106 in the 400s as well. So this is busy at the moment. Out here, two more, three more. 112 and 90 on the way through as well. So 90, the latest through there, is George Anderson, one of the newcomers. There was 86 and 95 also in the 400s there. Oliver Dean and James Dutton, one of the newcomers as well. So it is the 400s largely at the front. There's the first of your 250s. The number 73 of Joris Vastenackels. Two more of the 400s through. Another 125. There's the number 4 machine of Mike Hose. And then on the number 5 of the 400s on the way through as well is Paul Cassidy, who's been running well across the classes. Third of the 125s on the way through on this opening sighting laps. That's number 97, Simon Lehane. To you, Chris.
On the power they come towards us. First rider across the line is number 93, Stephen Gorton. He goes to complete his opening lap. Obviously not timed on because they've come out of the pits. Next rider through is 105, Stevie Sewell. Then it's Shelley Pike. Lovely VFR 400 Honda for Shelley. 11th quickest overall yesterday. The 83.348 for her. Another machine, white fared, burst into our view. It's number 102. That's Ben Granger. Local man goes through. Number 40. 8, number 48, Alex Clark. 112, Rad Hughes. 106, Paul Evans goes through. One of the 125s, Martin Tranter. 90, George Anderson. 95, James Dutton. 86, Oliver Dean. All safely through. 77, Daniel Pearson. 116, Aidan Cleary. He goes through. Number 5, there's Paul Cassidy. He'll be one of the ones to watch on this one. 4, Mike Hose. 20, Wayne Davis. 36, Fraser Higginson. 37, Gary Porter. 73, Joris Vastenackels. 108, Justin Robury. He completes 20 machines past us so far, with Stephen Gorton, number 93, being the first bike on the road. 2, Alan Oversby. He's got a lot of traffic there. Ahead of Liam Taylor, Roddy Taylor, Simon Lehane and Barry Davison, number 32, 68, 97 and 40 respectively. And there's James Tucker on the 59 machine. He, of course, running well yesterday, second quickest of the 125s. Billy Cummins goes through on 39. 65, Ian Salou. Still to come. Another 3, another 4. Wow, Matthew Morgan goes through, Liam Wood goes through, but Stephen Gorton will be first man on the road on the 93 bike, 4th yesterday at 89.077. Can he improve? Back to Rob, lap 1.
Yeah, indeed. First flying lap. So here is number 93, Stephen Gorton, who, as we heard, running well throughout this session last night, and he's got a big gap to the rest of the field in behind at the moment. Only spotted a handful of the smaller 125 machines on the way through. We mentioned Mike Hose and Simon Lehane as well. Lee Stanaway is out there on his 125 as well. There is Stephen Sewell, another of the newcomers. So those two still same order on the roads. Number 72, Shelley Pike. But those 400s just getting a little bit more stretched out on this opening flying lap. A couple of seconds further back, another of the 400s interviewed. That's Rad Hughes. And then a couple of seconds once again, a little bit further back again, is the number 102 machine of Ben Granger as well. So it's all 400s out at the front at the moment. Here's a few more of them for you. Only time for numbers 106, 95, 48, 77, 90, 5, and then 86. So Paul Cassidy is second from the back of that particular little group. Two more 400s at 116 and 20. There's the first E125s. That's Mike Hose, number 37 in the 400s. And then number 29, Martin Tranter. And then he said 97 there. 36, 2, and 108 through as well in the 400s. To you, Tim. Chris.
Stephen Gorton goes through at 92.154, improving from his yesterday lap of 89.077. He's got a good clear bit of road as well, a 246.027, 92.154. Next machine interview. There we go. It's 105 Stevie Sewell, 85.869 for Stephen. Shelley Pike's next on 72. Shelley goes through at 84.051. Oh, they sing, don't they? Rad Hughes goes through. Now, Rad, second quickest yesterday, 90.888. He's just on 89.641, slotting into second at the moment. Next rider through is 102. That's Ben Granger. 77, Daniel Pearson. He goes second, but no, it's Paul Cassidy who's made him move. Oh, my goodness me. 2 minutes 46.179, 92.069. Paul Cassidy just behind Stephen Gorton. But it is the man we're waiting for, Alan Oversby. In fact, that could be him. It is, yeah. Into third is Alan now, 91.881. So not as quick as what he did yesterday. So let's see if we can work this out. See where exactly we are on this one. Stephen Gorton, he's quickest on the 93 bike, the newcomer, 2 minutes 46.027, 92.154. And as it stands at the moment, I think we do have a red flag situation here at the start and finish. We have a red flag out alongside us here now. So we don't have any details on that at the moment, so we'll stop the timing system there. So we do have a red flag situation here at the start and finish again. We have no other details. We'll be in communication with the team upstairs, and when we get some information to bring you here on Manx Radio Motorsport, we will let you know. But for now, back to Ben in the studio.
Let's return you to the Billown circuit in the south of the island, where we can join Chris Kinley for an update on this afternoon's action. Chris.
Thank you, Ben. Yes, we are down here at the Blackford Financial Services Pre-TT Classic. We were in the middle of the 125s, 250s and 400 qualifying session. Unfortunately, had to be stopped due to a red flag incident at Billown Dip. The rider is conscious and is at the moment being assessed by the medics. The rider will then be transferred by ambulance to Nobles Hospital. Now, significant track contamination means that cleanup will take a little while. We'll get a further update from the clerk of the course and his team as and when they can give us that information. So just to reiterate, a red flag incident at Billown Dip. The rider is conscious and being assessed by the medics and will be transferred by ambulance to Nobles. There is significant track contamination. That means cleanup will take a little while longer. Further information, when we get it, we will bring it back to you. Speaking of which, back to Ben in the studio.
All right, Chris, thanks very much indeed. You're with Manx Radio Motorsport, also together with Manx Radio's FM network throughout the afternoon. So any further updates from Billown, as soon as we have any further details, we will let you know. In the meantime, lots of music for you here, including this one now. Latest from Teddy Swims on Manx Radio Motorsport, and this is great. Mr. Know-It-All. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Ben Hartley, back there at Broadcasting House on Douglas Head. And the sun's still shining here on Billown, on the bypass, and ready to go with the sidecars. They didn't manage to get out last night due to the unfavourable light conditions. Let's get down to the paddock. It's three-wheel action time, and Beth Espey's there for us.
Yeah, the sidecars have just made their way to the dummy grid here. I just need to say a big thank you to Andy McAllister for a rather lovely cup of tea and a Kit Kat just a short time ago. But yeah, great to get this underway. Obviously the first qualifying action for the sidecars, so they are all lined up here, and obviously Dave Molyneux, Dan Sale down as number 2. Got the really distinctive outfit of Greg Lambert and Andrew Haynes. We were talking yesterday just about what they do for all sidecar competitors with the race school, and they do so much. But the sidecars are now out on the course, Chris, so this qualifying session is now underway.
Thank you very much to Beth Espey down there at the paddock. Sidecars making their way out. You've got to keep an eye on the number 1 outfit. There's Dave Molyneux and Dan Sale on that one. Change of passenger, by the way, for Danny Quirk. Danny Quirk at number 54 doesn't have Sharon Reeves in the chair. Quirky has Kenny Cole in the chair, so that's a change there from the number 54 outfit. Previous winner, of course, Danny Quirk, with Sharon Reeves not in the chair. It's going to be Kenny Cole. And also, we have a changing machine for number 29, Adam Pope. and John Christopher. They're not riding the Norton Westlake now. It's a Triumph Thunderbird. But again, when we get to race time a bit later on, we will give you all the information on that. So the two sidecar races that we do have, we'll have one today and obviously one tomorrow, with the roads closing tomorrow being Sunday from 1 o'clock in the afternoon until no later than 6 o'clock. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 races this evening. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 races tomorrow. Looking forward to it. It's going to be some great action. And if you are just arriving on the island, welcome back. Or if you've not been here before, where have you been? You've missed all this. Let's get out to Cross Four Ways for lap 1 of the chairs. Rob, some three-wheel action into there. Always entertaining at Cross Four Ways.
Indeed, yeah. Watching sidecars, both classic in this event and during the Southern Hundreds, always a spectacle here through Cross Four Ways. I think it's a slightly expanded field this year, actually, for the three-wheelers in the Sidecar Classic this year. I don't know if anyone could get me some clarity on this, but I believe one of the reasons behind the reduced field last year was that there was a meeting taking place at around the same time somewhere in Central Europe, which meant there were a few crews who couldn't make it here. It clashed with that particular event. That's what I was told anyway. If anyone could provide some clarity on that, I'd be interested to know. Dave Molyneux and Dan Sale on the number 2 machine. They were originally down for the Sidecar Classic last year, but were unable to attend for various reasons. I think Dave Molyneux mentioned later on they just couldn't quite get that outfit ready. But here we are, the first sighting lap. Number 4 and 5 machines. The second of those, Jack Griswold and Alice Smith, their previous winners here. Number 54 of Danny Quirk and Kenny Cole, the different passenger. Number 9, Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson. Keep an eye on them. It's the first time they've been involved in the Sidecar Classic for a few years, and they are the Sidecar Classic lap record holders from 2023, 91.687 miles an hour. The race record in the sidecars, Bob Dawson and Matthew Sims, 87.014. 28-2, there's Molyneux and Sale, and there's Greg Lambert and Andrew Haynes. Had a bit of a mixed campaign in the Sidecar Classic here last year to Greg Lambert and Andrew Haynes, a retirement in the first race, but then on the podium second in the second race as well, so they managed to turn it around and get those mechanical matters fixed as well. So those are your first outfits through there. We've had Dave Molyneux and Dan Sale, we've had Rob Bellis and Glenn Dawson, also previous winners, Jack Griswold and Alice Smith, Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson out there. Tony Thurkel and William Morley are also on the sheet. Here's number 11, Patrick Carls and Vincent van der Houte. Number 92, Jason Rees and Shane Perry. And number 29, Adam Pope and John Christopher on that change of machinery, as Chris Kinley mentioned there. 2 of those outfits that came through as well, newcomers as well. Patrick Carls and Vincent van der Houte, the pairing from Belgium. So good to see more continental teams making their way towards us in the Sidecar Classic this year. And if you're talking about making a long journey to the Isle of Man and the Billown Course, Jason Rees and Shane Perry, the number 92 outfit that came through here, all the way hailing from New Zealand. That's some effort from them to get themselves down here. That's great to see that the reach of the Pre-TT Classic road races is stretching to all corners of the globe. So we're starting to get our first sidecar crews making their way out onto their flying lap. Chris Kinley.
Yeah, Jack Griswold and Alice Smith on the number 5 outfit. They were the first ones through, of course, on their BMW Windle outfit. The Griswold machine from Chipping Camden. Rod Bellis and Glenn Dawson. Good to see Rod back here again. Previous winner of the York team on their BLR Imp. And number 54, Danny Quirk. It says Sharon Reeves in there, but it's not Sharon. It is, of course, Kenny Cole, we've led to believe. Number 9, Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson. They were the next outfit through. Then number 2, Dave Molyneux and Dan Sale went through. Good to see Dave out here again on the 750 DMR TR750 Suzuki. Another outfit through. That's 92, Jason Rees and Shane Perry. They go through on their MRE BMW. 11 and next, Patrick Carls and Vincent van der Houte. They go through. Here's the sit-up and back outfit. Wow. 29, Adam Pope and John Christopher. Sounds great, doesn't it? Really, really does. So 10 outfits through so far. There is a couple of people who aren't going to be making the starting lineup this year. Number 23, Will Smith and Andrew John Smith. And number 24, Tony Thurkel and William Morley. They're not going to be making the starts, unfortunately, this year. So 10 outfits through. 5, Jack Griswold. 4, Rob Bellis. 54, Danny Quirk. 9, Kieran Clark. 2, Dave Molyneux and Dan Sale. 69, Greg Lambert and Andy Haynes, not mentioned Greg yet. 28, Adam Holden, newcomer driver, then Trevor Johnson. 92, Jason Rees and Shane Perry, they're both newcomers. And 11, Patrick Carls and Vincent van der Houte on their MRE framed BMW there from Belgium, for Heissy in Belgium, and a town called Silly in Belgium, or Silly. I'll have to get that right before the end of the week. And Adam Pope and John Christopher were the next outfit through. Let's get back out to Cross Four Ways, because Jack Griswold and Alice Smith making their way there now.
Yeah, they were leading on the road. 3 more outfits on the way through. Greg Lambert and Andrew Haynes just ahead of Dave Molyneux and Dan Sale there as well. among the latest to go through, along with Danny Quirk and Kenny Cole. So that trio close together on this opening flying lap. Jack Griswold and Alice Smith, as we mentioned, they were leading out on the road ahead of the number 4 outfit of Rob Bellis and Glenn Dawson, followed closely in tow by Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson there. So split into trios almost. A few seconds a little further back, here's the newcomer driver, Adam Holden, along with Trevor Johnson on the Bader Honda. The Cottingham and Rochester pairing. So they all seem to be bunched up into trios at the start of this particular session. So we had the first 3 through, and then we're looking at about, I'm just going off a little bit of mental maths here, probably about somewhere between 5 and 10 seconds a bit further back. We had the pairings of Molyneux and Sale in there. We had Lambert and Haynes. And we also had Quirk and Cole on the way through as well. Chris Kinley.
Whoa, number 9 came out the back there. Number 4, Rod Bellis and Glenn Dawson, Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson. Sorry, Rob, just to jump over the top of you there. Wow, great move by the number 9 outfit. Here's the next outfit through. That's Greggy Lambert, 69. Number 2, Dave Molyneux goes through. Dave Molyneux up to second. Danny Sale in the chair there. Greg Lambert and Andrew Haynes, they're quickest though, on 2 minutes 56.4 at 86.734 miles an hour. 2.6 seconds quicker than number 2, Dave Molyneux. Dan Sale, 2 minutes 59.05, 85.448. Then it's number 9, Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson on 301.508, 84.294. Then number 5, Jack Griswold, Alice Smith, they're the next outfit. In 4th position, 301.636, 84.234. As the number 28 outfit of Adam Holden and Trevor Johnson go through. So we got to 5th place. That's number 4, Rob Bellis and Glenn Dawson with a 305.7, 82.377. And 6th place for number 28, just gone past the there now, Adam Holden and Trevor Johnson with a 327.706. And their lap on those guys there is the 73.662. But with the news that Greg Lambert and Andrew Haynes on the 69 outfit is quicker so far at 86.7, we go back to cross 4 ways.
Just wonder if we can get a bit of clarity, Chris, as well, because I haven't seen a time flash up for the number 54 outfit of Danny Quirk and Kenny Cole for a first flying lap there. So I wonder if they've stopped somewhere between cross 4 ways and the start-finish line on Castletown bypass there. Jason Rees and Shane Perry, the newcomer pairing, have just gone through. They're 7th quickest. They're just under 4 seconds off the pace of Adam Holden and Trevor Johnson on the number 28 outfit. Here's your first 2 machines on the road. It's Jack Griswold and Alice Smith. Around 3 bike lengths back is Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson as well. Both of them opening up a gap here to the number 4 outfit of Rob Bellis and Glenn Dawson here. So those 2 outfits out front have got their foot down at the moment. 2 more interview. It's Greg Lambert and Andrew Haynes. And right in behind them is Dave Molyneux and Dan Sale. In fact, Dave Molyneux just moving up the inside. Has he gone through on the exit? Yes, he has. So Dave Molyneux has moved ahead of Greg Lambert out on the road there. Dave Molyneux just nice and smooth up the inside there at cross 4 ways. Patrick Carls and Vincent van der Houten, the new Belgian newcomers, they've also crossed the line for their first flying lap at 3 minutes 49.820. So that puts them just over 18 seconds off the pace of Jason Rees and Shane Perry on the number 92 outfit, 7th quickest at the moment. So still no times showing up at the moment. Mentioned Danny Quirk and Kenny Cole, so wonder if they've stopped somewhere around the course as well. And we're also waiting Adam Pope and John Christopher as well on their first flying laps here, but we should be getting in the next few moments. In fact, Greg Lambert and Andrew Haynes have actually gone top here on that second lap. So 2 minutes 56.402. It's Greg Lambert and Andrew Haynes that have the fastest lap of the session so far. To you, Chris.
Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson, they've just gone top with a 254.515, 87.672. They've just gone across the line, as is Jack Griswold and Alice Smith. The next outfit through, Rod Bellis and Glenn Dawson, and Greg Lambert now pulling into the pits there now. He's just done his quickest lap there at 256.089, and Dave Molyneux also pulling in as well. 3 minutes to go in the session. Dave and Dan, they don't improve that time, but Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson, they're the quickest so far on the orange outfit. 2 minutes 54.515 for the number 9 outfit, the Eddie's Moto Tadcaster, the BMW, the Tadcaster and Farnham pairing. They go through and they're quickest at 87.672, and 1.574 back off them is 69 Greg Lambert and Andy Haynes. They've just pulled into the pits. And third quickest, the number 2 outfit of Dave Molyneux and Dan Sale, 259.057. 85.448. Fourth place, number 5, Jack Griswold, Alice Smith, 3 minutes flat, 0.961, 84.549. Number 4, Rob Bellis and Glenn Dawson, they've completed 3 laps on their outfit. They're in 5th place, the 303.912, 83.192. Waiting for 28, Adam Holden, Trevor Johnson, 92, Jason Rees and Shane Perry, and also Patrick Carls And Vincent... Where's that gone there now? Vincent van der Hoyter. There we go. But Danny Quirk and Adam Pope, we both don't know where they've gone. They've only completed one lap so far. In fact, they didn't get a time lap in. They got their out lap through to get past us, but they did not get the time lap. But the leader on the road, the orange outfit, Kieran Clark and Andy Johnson, should be getting near Cross Four Ways.
Yeah, although the machinery is, of course, very different here, the likes of Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson are preparing for the Isle of Man TT races over the next 2 weeks. Here they are, Clark and Johnson arriving at Cross Four Ways, all alone there, out there on the road at the moment, so you can hear them back up through the gears on the exit of Cross Four Ways and roaring their way up to Church Bends. But yeah, there's a few of them that will have some extra responsibilities going into the next 2 weeks. Clark and Johnson, Lambert and Haynes, of course, we heard Greg Lambert and Andrew Haynes have pulled in as Rob Bellis and Glenn Dawson arrive, running 5th quickest at the moment as they go through Cross Four Ways on this latest flying lap. They're 2.9 seconds off the pace of Jack Gristwood and Alice Smith. Alice Smith, incidentally, she's getting ready for her second campaign at the TT, having made her debut as a passenger last year alongside Maria Costello. Here is that number 5 outfit of Gristwood and Smith into Cross Four Ways on this latest flying lap here. So they're 1.9 seconds off the pace of Dave Molyneux and Dan Sale, who are currently rounding out the top 3 at the moment. Just a quick reminder, let's see, Jason Rees and Shane Perry and Patrick Carls and Vincent van der Hote before the front of the pack made their way through, got their latest laps in. And Patrick Carls and Vincent van der Hote on their latest flying lap, they actually went quicker at 3 minutes 49.820, so they have upped the pace as well. No quicker though for Jason Rees and Shane Perry, a 3:35 last time out. To you, Chris.
Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson have just upped the pace again. They're going to be going out in the final lap because less than a minute to go now. The checkered flag will be heading out. They've just done a 90-mile-an-hour lap, so they're upping the pace. Are the number 9 outfit. We also had number 11, Patrick Carls here, went through. And Jason Rees and Shane Perry. Let's give you Jason and Shane's speed, 72.278, 3 minutes 31. As the checkered flag is shown to number 4, Rob Bellis and Glenn Dawson. They don't improve that time. Back to Jason Rees and Shane Perry, 92. Their machine there in the 7th at the moment at 3:31.6, 92.278. And number 11, Patrick Carls and Vincent van der Hoyte, they'll slot into that 8th position. And there's another outfit just across the line there again. And I don't think anybody's going to make a change on that one, though. No change at all on that. But the checkered flag is out. And let's get down to Beth very quickly with the news that Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson, they're quickest in the chairs. Beth.
Yeah, just looking at the blue plates of 91 and 23 down here. So that's Peter Murray and Adrian Scaife, and they're just waiting by the gates. I'm just wondering whether they are going to go out potentially. I don't know, obviously qualifying was curtailed. I don't know whether there's any news you've got, Chris, that maybe some solos might be able to get out there.
No, I haven't heard any information, Beth, so if I do get any information, I will let you know, obviously, straight away. We are obviously keeping an eye out. Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson, who won't be too far away, I'm pretty sure, from Cross Four Ways, because they are going to get an extra lap in. Rob, are they through you yet at Cross Four Ways? Got a good pace.
They're not at the moment, no. We've just actually, if you could just hear in the background, that's Jason Rees and Shane Perry making their way through. Here they are, Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson. You see, yep, they've managed to get in before the checkered flag came out, so keep an eye out and see if they can improve on that pace. They're setting the benchmark at that 2 minutes 49.985, and that's just over 6 seconds clear of their nearest competitor in this qualifying session, Greg Lambert and Andrew Haynes. They were at 2:56.089 was their best time at the moment. So Jason Rees and Shane Perry, their current best, they're still out on course as well, a 3:31.684. Their previous lap though was let's have a look back there. Yep, it's a few seconds so that was a 3:35.457 on the previous lap as well. Here's another of the newcomer pairings getting out for another lap as well. Patrick Carls and Vincent van der Hote running in 8th at the moment. Their previous lap was their quickest so far, a 3:47.708. And we wait to see what Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson will do on this final lap. They may have to slow down to come into the pit straight afterwards because, of course, this session is going to be coming to an end very shortly. We'll keep an eye on that, and we'll keep an eye on those two newcomer pairings who are toward the back of the order, just getting as many laps in as they can, just as those solo riders as well. The checkered flag is out right now, so this session is going to be coming to an end. Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson, still waiting for a time to flash over. It's still got a best of 2 minutes 49.985. They do cross the line. It isn't as quick as their previous one, a 2:53.9, as Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson will be pulling back into the paddock at the end of this session. But they do lead the way on provisional pole as it stands, ahead of Greg Lambert and Andrew Haynes, 6.1 seconds back, 2 minutes 56.089. That managed on the 3 laps that they managed. And then rounding out the top 3 at the moment, Dave Molyneux and Dan Sale. They got 3 laps in there, a best of a 2:59.0 1:09.057. Jason Rees and Shane Perry, they're back across the line as well. Still don't improve on their best time as they managed to get another lap into their latest lap. Jason Rees and Shane Perry was a 3:36.668. Their best pace so far, 3:31.684. They'll, of course, be slowing down to head back into the paddock after they cross the line. Just waiting for an update as well on Patrick Carls and Vincent van der Houte, who are out there as well. 3:47.7. They don't go quicker on this last lap of the session. Over to you, Beth.
Yeah, so just down here in the paddock, there are going to be about 12 or so of the bikes that have not yet qualified. They're going to be able to go out for the finishing of their qualifying. So they are just waiting by the gate now. I've had to move right back. So there will be some more solo action out on the course very, very shortly, just waiting for those the sidecar outfits to come in. But Chris, yeah, about 12 or so machines will be out there very soon.
Yeah, we just had the clerk of the course came into the commentary box here just to give us the information. It's basically for the guys who and girls, obviously, who haven't had the track time, haven't been able to get out. It's mainly going to be newcomers. So obviously it could be all over in your programme. So it's untimed as well, so there's no pressure on them as well. It's just to give them time because obviously we've lost about an hour or so today. We lost about 40 minutes or so yesterday, and time is quite important. It's always the way. We were just discussing the fact that we've kind of done all right, to be fair, but yeah, unfortunately we lost all that time. So they're all going to be going out, and it is going to be untimed. So Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson, they were quickest in that session with a 2-minute 49.385. Second, number 69, Greg Lambert and Andy Haynes with a 2:56.089. Number 2, Dave Molyneux, Dan Sale, a 2:59.05. Number 5, Jack Griswold, Alan Smith, they were fourth with a 3-minute flat .961. Fifth, number 4, Rod Bellis and Glenn Dawson with a 3:03.912. Sixth, number 28, Adam Holden, Trevor Johnson with 3 minutes 27.706. And seventh for number 92, Jason Rees and Shane Perry with a 3:31.6. And in eighth position, the number 11 outfitter, Patrick Carls and Vincent van der Houte at 3:47.708. So we will have action again very, very shortly when they're obviously we're waiting for the course cars to come round. But that lap there, Rob Pritchard out there across four ways, a 2:48.985 into the 90 mile an hour. You know what? I think Kieran Clark, if conditions are fair, a bit later on and tomorrow, I think we could see that lap record push, couldn't we?
Yeah, so just a reminder on that lap record from 2023, 91.687 miles an hour. It's certainly not outside the realms of possibility, is it? It was an absolutely fantastic lap. That was the only team, and by some considerable distance, in fact, to dip under the 2 minutes 50 mark there. I think, just to be honest, for those teams out there, the sidecars, of course, they missed out last night because of the delays that we had and also the fading light as well. They'll just be glad to get some laps in. I'm not sure what the situation is, Chris. You might actually be able to provide some clarity on this, or someone in the Southern 100, but also for those sidecar outfits that have gone out in that session and not completed, I suppose, flying laps. I don't know what the situation is with regards to that, but obviously we had Danny Quirk and Kenny Cole who didn't set a fast lap after that sight, and Adam Pope and John Christopher as well. Just have to wait and see. It's all hypothetical at this end, some of the thoughts that are going through my head as well. But also coming back and right back into the mix, I should say, if I can get my words out, Jack Gristwood and Alice Smith up at the top four as well. They may be one to keep an eye out for as well. It's been a couple of years since they've been here, but they were running right towards the front. Previous race winners here in their last appearance as well. Could be a competitive field once we actually get racing underway. But yeah, Kieran Clark and Andrew Johnson, that's some flying lap to set out there on your first qualifying session, considering they didn't have a session yesterday to be dialed in towards that sort of pace at this stage, just in the first session. Well, it tells you something about the way they're setting that up. Back to you, Chris.
Yeah, and the move that they made here coming through one of the laps to get past Rob Bellis was pretty good. They got in right in the slipstream, and just as you handed over, they pulled out onto the left-hand side and just flew past him. Really good pace there now. So we are going to be getting underway very shortly with the Pre-TT Classic non-qualifiers session. Again, this is going to be untimed, so we'll have no time to bring you in. Beth, any sign of any action down there? We have had the course cars going past us here at the start and finish. So by the sounds of it, you might have some action shortly.
Yeah, I think there will be. I should just say, Connie is here for any 2T fans. Very distinctive. The guy with all the badges on his leathers. I took a photograph of him and then had to have a selfie. Not my choice, obviously. But yeah, he's here and just taking a look around. And I know he's become something of an icon here on the Isle of Man. Loads of people wanting to get pictures with him and get his autograph as well. But yeah, no action just as yet. But just they're all just waiting by the gate here to say this untimed timed qualified session for those people who haven't yet qualified. And you say they're not all newcomers, there are a couple of other riders in there as well. But I tell you what, these machines are loud, Chris.
Yeah, the final course car, Beth, has just gone past us here now. You'll see it coming into your eye line in a second. A silvery grey Subaru, I think it is. They'll be heading on there now. Just a reminder, we will be coming back again a bit later on after this session finishes for the Saturday evening with the races. Roads closing from 6 o'clock until no later than 9:30. We'll start off with the singles race. Then we'll have the 1100cc classic race, then the junior superbikes, and then the MC Locksmith sidecar race number 1 there. The first race over 6 laps, then 2 7-lappers, and then a 4-lapper. That will be this evening. And then tomorrow, of course, afternoon, roads will close from 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon here on the Isle of Man. Our engineer wants to go shooting and I want to go golfing. We're not allowed to do that anyway. So, yeah, from 1 o'clock until no later than 6 with the senior classic race over 7. The 250s and 125s over 6, the 350 Classics over 7, the 400cc's, they're over 6, and the post-classic superbikes over 7, and the sidecars back over 4. Quickly down to Beth, any action down there just yet?
No, machines just still being held by the gate. I've got my position on the wall, so I'll be able to see exactly when they move onto the course. But do you know what? It's got a little bit nicer down here, actually. It was really quite cold earlier, but that breeze has just eased off a little bit, so it does seem a little bit more pleasant. Still plenty of blue sky and just a few clouds sort of giving a bit of cover there. But yeah, these machines will say, I think it's around a dozen or so, just going to be going out in this untimed session. The gate, though, is now open, so they're going to be making their way down to the dummy grid. You can see them there on the red plates, 112 just going past there. The blue plate number 91. Flipping heck, that one's loud. Got your earplugs in for that one, but they are all just now making their way down, so it's great that they're able to get this session in for these riders who haven't yet qualified, because obviously through no fault of their own that session was curtailed. They're all just now making their way down to the dummy grid there, and that's number 12 on the green plate, just getting a little bit of a push along there, so fingers crossed he gets going when this gets underway, which I don't think, Chris, will be too long now, because they all are in position and just waiting for the flags to give them the signal to go.
Excellent stuff, and it sounds like from the noise in the background, Beth, there's a good mixture of machines out here as well. And how good is it of the Southern 100 Club to be, getting these guys and girls the chance to get out, and obviously with a few problems that they have. And, I want to go down the race office there, and the guys in the race office, Rachel, George and all the team, they're so welcoming for everybody now. And the machines are now making their way up towards the hedges, as they call it, which is just before Ballacagan there. And they'll be heading towards the Gloverlaw Ballacagan corner. And, of course, past the old Derek Nicholson grandstand and the Greystones Chartered Accountants winners enclosure and podium area. I hope I don't have to say that often anyway. But the Derek Nicholson stand, and we remember Derek, a long-time supporter, local policeman down here in Castletown for many, many years. The inspector he was too. And you knew where you were with Derek. I can tell you that when you were a kid growing up here in the Sunderland, which for those of you who don't know, I kind of grew up about 150 yards away from here, just down up there a little bit. So, yeah, it's quite nice to be stood here in the commentary box and thinking back to the days when we used to get up on the early morning practices here on the Southern 100. They used to have years and years ago, before we had this event first off in 1988. The Southern 100 started way back. My first memory of it was way back in the early 70s, living in Maloo Street and later on in School Hill, and all the kids from around this area we all used to come up and help the Southern 100 Club. And it's great to see. I think Beth mentioned it yesterday, didn't she, about the fact that there was loads of kids around the paddock helping out and looking out for the high fives. And any club, no matter where they are, they have to have a future, and hopefully those kids will stay on and they will support the club in the years to come. I think it's the friendliest club, and of course very similar to the club over there that I go over and help with in the races in Ireland, the Armoy Club as well. I know a few of the Armoy boys will be here on Ireland, or of course listening back over there in Armoy, and that's another great race you must make an appointment to go to. So these non-qualifiers will be making their way out to Cross Four Ways, just about 3 miles out on this Motor Isle Billown course, and it's Rob Pritchard there for us.
Yeah, we can hear them in the distance. They'll be cresting the hill that's just behind the tree line over to my left-hand side. Hopefully in the next couple of moments we can hear them rumbling their way towards us. Valuable time, as we're saying, untimed session, but valuable time nonetheless, particularly for any newcomers going out in this particular session. Just looking over to our left-hand side after that sidecar session, a couple of those three-wheeled outfits have just helpfully laid down just a little bit of rubber on the outer braking point on that left-hand side, that little undulation right next to the hedge where people often sit behind as well. So here we go. It is a complete mix here. Number 41 on a blue plate, the first off the year. 23 on a blue plate. 43 on a 400 as well in there. So that's Enrico Belcito, who's out there. 51 and 95. Those are on the blue plates here. So we've also got another one of the newcomer bibs out there on a blue plate with the 91 machine as well. So yeah, we really do have a complete mix at the moment. Number 12 on the 250, that on the way through as well on the green plate, I believe. Is that Richard Ford on the way through, I think, as well there. Just have to get some confirmation on that. But yeah, we had a handful of riders making their way out. Of course, they will be mindful, the organisers, won't they, that they only have the road closure, this particular road closure, the afternoon one, up until 4:30 p.m. because the roads have to be open by that time. They'll then reopen for 90 minutes before they're due to shut again at 6 o'clock for the first 4 races of the meeting. But we should be getting an idea. Like we say, it's untimed almost, but we may get some tracking information, if you like, as to how some of these riders are doing. It's always valuable time out on the course for these competitors here. Over to you, Chris.
Yeah, they exit the Castletown Bridge, that right-hander that brings them back onto the bypass, so it links the town of Castletown with, of course, the towns of Portsamary and Port Erin across Gansey. First machine is number 41 across the line. It's Russ Brook. 23 80 Scave, 69 Jeff Smith, 43 the newcomer Enrico Belcito. Next runner through is 51, goes through next. That's Andy Kildare. Oh, that's nice, James Dutton. Well prepared machine. Sounds like James could be pulling in there, actually. James Dutton. 91 is going to be getting a black flag here. Number 12 it is, Richard Ford on the Bob Jackson T20 Suzuki at 91. And I don't think he spotted the black flag there now, 91. There's a bit of smoke coming out the back of that. That's smoke to these people who are uninitiated in the Manx ways of speaking. So a bit of Peter Murray that is on the 91 bike, so he's got a bit of smoke coming out the back of that thing there. So 8 runners past me so far. As we have a little look up there, the road there again, looking towards the Castletown Bridge. And I don't think there's many places you can say where the train goes underneath. I know the train goes over the top of the Northwest 200 course, if I remember rightly, up there on up after the church corner there. They go under the railway bridge up towards Black Hill. So yeah, that is a place where the train will go past. But I think there's not that many others. You got the road circuit at the Martra, where they do have the train that goes through on the first massive right-hander from memory too. So Russell Brook 41, the first bike through. Adam Scaife, Jeff Smith, Enrico Belcito, Andy Kildare, James Dutton, Richard Ford, Peter Murray. So only 8 machines out there. Obviously, it's an on-time session anyway. Like Rob says, just us for a little bit of reference. So Rob, we'll head back to you with Russ Brook 41, first man on the road.
Indeed, yep, should be with us in the next couple of moments. So, yep, just a little bit of context as to sort of how this untimed qualifying session is going. So I'm going to give you some times. Yeah, no, that sounds a little bit contradictory, but yeah, Russell Brook, 3:26.512. Adrian Scaife, the number 23 machine, 3:27.9. And number 69, Jeff Smith, 3:28.151. Those are the quickest of the 3 times of this untimed session. We do have to keep enforcing that, I think, a little bit. 69, Jeff Smith is now first on the road, ahead of number 41, Russell Brook. 43, Enrico Belcito, and number 23, Adrian Scaife as well there. Just looking to run in these machines, aren't they? 51, Andy Kildare on the way through as well. I think we heard Chris mentioning as well that one of the riders out there was being black flagged in the session as well. We'll see if there's any developments on that as this lap continues. Number 12, Richard Ford, that was a 3:50.566 on that previous lap, that out lap there. So we currently have on the way through Cross Four Ways, we've had 7 machines through Cross Four Ways so far. We heard that there has been a machine that has been black flagged. It might potentially be the number 91 machine of Peter Murray, one of the newcomers there, so may well have been stopped had he not pulled into the paddock already. But yep, whirring away into the distance now. They'll have been back up the gears out across 4 ways and then back down them again for that intricate run through Church Bends. Wonderful set of corners, that particular chicane. Then they'll be back on the power all the way along Great Meadow and into that fantastic fast left-hander over at Stadium as well. Back to you, Chris.
Yeah, as we look up at the School Hill Rise, they come over the top there now, past the trees. And it is 69, first machine on the road. Jeff Smith, Enrico Balsito goes through. Also 41, Russ Brook. 23 through as well, 80 Scaife on his machine. Next machine through comes into our view once more on the blue plates. 51 is next, Andy Kildare. He goes through. Obviously, like Rob says, times are kind of incidental. It's just for them guys and girls to get track time. And there's Richard Ford. Always a good run around here on that 250. Very well prepared by Bob Jackson Suzuki. Little T20, and he goes through. And that should be, we're just waiting for two more. Now, I'm not sure if we will see 91 Pete Murray, because obviously they had the black flag out from here, so I'm pretty sure they will have had him stopped. There is various black flag points around this 4.25 mile Motor Isle Billown circuit. Just waiting for 95 James Dutton. Don't see him there at the moment. Hopefully James will be able to get the machine back round and get back for his race, excuse me, on his number 95 machine. He's a newcomer here as well, is 95. He's got his 250 Mackie out on that at the moment, the Bury St Edmunds rider. Okay, we believe James Dutton's in scrutineering, so he's obviously come in. We must have missed it. He must have just pulled in. Thank you very much, Phil Beth, for that information. So I'm sure they're not going to get much longer on here. So that's 6 minutes gone, roughly 7 minutes gone in the session, which will mean they won't be too far away from Cross Four Ways and Rob.
Yeah, and I'm just having a look through some of the times. Of course, got Enrico Balsito, one of the newcomers, out on a 400cc out there at the moment. And just looking back through, of course, that previous solo session that was halted due to that red flag. We had 400 machines out during that particular session. I'm just looking to see, although these times aren't really directly comparable, it's more just to see the sort of pace, I guess, that 400 was going. So that would have, if it was a timed one and mixed in with the rest of the others, would have probably put him just outside the top 20 times from the previous solo session before indeed it was stopped. So here we are, latest of this non-qualified session on their way up to Cross Four Ways. Just the two machines interview, and that is the number 69 of Jeff Smith and number 43 Enrico Balsito on the way through. So Jeff Smith was a 3:12.7 on the last lap. There's number 41 Russell Brook and also number 23 Adrian Scaife. They're also getting another lap in here around Cross Four Ways. A couple of seconds further back, one more machine interview at the moment. That is the number 12 machine on the green plate. That's Richard Ford. Incidentally, the quickest of this non-qualifier untimed session. Number 51, Andy Kildee. A 3:19.9, in fact, was Andy Kildee's time on that first flying lap, so that makes it the fifth fastest of this variety of machines out in this session at the moment. So all of the these six machines that we've had on the way through, as we've just been hearing there, and if you just missed it, James Dutton, we were potentially waiting on a time for him, but he was actually in scrutineering, courtesy of an update from Beth there. And Peter Murray, we understand, was black flagged during the session as well, so it was maybe stopped at some point around the course while this session is continuing. But Richard Ford, Jeff Smith, Enrico Balsito, Russell Brook, Andy Kildare and Adrian Scaife all still out there circulating in this non-qualifier session. Back to you, Chris.
As they flash back into our view here now, two bikes side by side. Goodness me, that is the checkered flag here there now. Enrico Balsito. So James Dutton is not going to be heading out, unfortunately. He's obviously had a bit of a check for something. Enrico Balsito, he's finished his laps. Jeff Smith on 69 has also finished. Russ Brook 41, 23, 80 Scaife also finished as well. There's Richie Ford, and Richard Ford goes through. Yeah, Richard, quick on that bike, really is, on the number 12 machine. He's finished his 3 laps, and I think we should have possibly one more to come back through. Should be number 51. That is Andy Kildee, and it is, and Andy pulls over to the left-hand side of the road. You can just hear him just coming past there now, just nice and easy. And Andy will get that machine back to the paddock and do obviously a little bit of work on that machine. Andy, of course, from Newton Ards over there in Northern Ireland. So that just about wraps it up from us here, and we will be back with you just after 6 o'clock, because we're going racing this evening. That is all the qualifying we are aware of. It is happening here down at the Motor Isle Billown circuit. And nice of the club to let those gentlemen get out for just a couple of laps, just to bed a few things in. Remember, the roads are still closed until the roads open car goes past your location. So please bear that in mind. If you've never been here before, the roads are still closed. Please observe what all the marshals tell you, please. They're concerned for your safety, okay? So please bear that in mind. We hope to speak to you a little bit later on here on Manx Radio Motorsport. Thanks to the team. We'll be back on air. Thanks to Ben back at base. We'll be back on air just after 6 o'clock when we go racing for the 2026 Blackford Financial Services Pre-TT Classic Road Races. But for now, it's back to the studio.
From barbecue favourites to on-the-go snacks and treats, fuel your race day with Tesco.